There we go. Pressed. Easy. No.
So now we're live. People can see us. We are here, guys. Welcome.
We promised once again. Who else besides me actually rewatched the whole rest of the season? There we go. Well, we mostly
A few
did.
people are saying they did.
Which is good. I do think it's genuinely important to rewatch this sort of show because, for example, I was complaining earlier that Georgiou would want to go back and, you know, why isn't she wanting to go back for the Mirror Universe show or the Section 31 show? But now, having rewatched it, you can see, okay, there's actually less for her there than I remember there being. So, you know, rewatching is genuinely important for context. And context, Stuart, is for...
Trek Yards.
Who are the kings? Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome forward. Welcome.
Oh, Joseph Perez did exactly what we did. It ran today on my second monitor while I was working. literally what Teen Trade Girls did. Huh. Okay, Painkiller's done. How is everyone today? I should probably share this, shouldn't I? 40 people. 40 pre-people, which is awesome. Yeah,
nice. We're both having our energy drinks, so...
I expect to have more of today after this, so... That's why it was wrongly framed, because I forgot I framed us to be smaller so I can play Super Chats, but now I've reframed us to be big again. Damn it. Okay, that's okay. I'll rearrange that a little bit. Cheers, Commander.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was too efficient. I swapped it out of what it was before.
So,
that's okay.
Yeah, so apparently we got a dislike before the stream even started, so that's... I hate when people see the topic and they're like, oh, I hate that. I hate Discovery. Dislike. But what they don't realize is that clicking dislike helps the channel. It's an analytic for YouTube. They're actually helping the channel by saying that, by being an asshole, essentially. So it's fine. Keep doing that if you guys really want.
It's like...
But if you do want to like this video, that would be helpful as well.
Yeah, it's like you watch the show enough to hate it. That's a thing.
Or you don't watch it at all and just hate it because you're... Anyway. So Joseph already put in €2. Welcome to the review of the best Star Trek show. Welcome to the review of a Star Trek show.
I think he meant our show. Because he did that for mine yesterday.
Well, then yes.
I think of the best Star Trek review show, because he said yesterday it was the best after show of the Star Trek show is our show. I was like, oh, thanks, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was talking about Discovery. Oh, well.
Right, you vamp, I'm going to share.
All right. So we got the usual suspects here. Neff, Joseph, Jill, DS Riders, Raj, Jay the Dog, 84. Hello, everyone. Since we're just recapping the last, 5 episodes, we're going to talk about the Mirror Universe stuff and a little bit about the last episode, but we are kind of excited about getting this done and dusted and out of the way because we're going to be deep diving into season 2 when it comes out. So Mike Brown says Star Trek Discovery sucks. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm not, there's things about it that I don't enjoy. There's things about it that need improving. But it is worth talking about at least, pointing things out.
And to be fair, if you had watched Star Trek the TOS, the motion picture of Athacon, Search for Spock, you would say, wow, TNG season 1's a bit of a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say it was good. You wouldn't say it was necessarily the worst thing ever, but you'd say, that's not as good as the old stuff. So give it at least a year to reframe and consider how many things changed in between, consider how many people were fired and let go, and God knows how many more people there were, sub-designers and subcontractors and artists that were not brought back for season 2 to create a new thing. So who knows how different. I'd love to see a metric of does even 50% of the original team from season... Well, how many of the original team from the start of season 1 remain? 20%? 15%?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see that analytically. That'd be cool.
Nothing against them, but, things changed and things got reshuffled.
Dreamer out there puts in $5. Thank you very much. If you were handling the story, would you make it so the Connie goes from Cage to Discovery back to production? Or would that refit even be practical?
That's a good question.
if it's sized correctly, sure, why not? We can fit that in. We can explain it. But for the rescaling, I don't know. Not really.
I would be happy to retcon out the Cage Connie.
Yeah, it could easily be done.
That's the one exception, and just say the one menagerie canon is not visually canon that I can work with, but TOS is such an established thing with every other iteration backing it up. You know, by showing if they get to TOS and show it different, then that's saying that DS9 is different. DS9 is wrong, and Enterprise is wrong, and they're all either not canon or wrong or retcon out. You know, it's a classic thingy effect, domino effect. But no, I think it's easy to say Discovery Enterprise into Enterprise as long as the scale's the same, the correct scale. You could say that's an interesting evolution. And if anything, I would have loved to have seen then the first Enterprise version. You know, like we almost have seen, like almost we wouldn't have been it's a little bit whatever. Wouldn't have been cool if the Constitution was a ship they bumped into, and it's still like the vanilla design 10 years earlier, and then it gets refitted into the Cage or Discovery version at the end of Discovery Season 2, which then leads into TOS a few years later.
Yeah.
Like it was the last to get refitted, then get refitted into the new Cage style, and then gets refitted, and saying, you know, oh yeah, the Constitution class was the first to be refitted, that's why in Season 1 it looks the way it does. But remember it got refitted again in TOS Season Episode 1, 2, and 3, because it goes into its, you know, it gets the new end caps and stuff, so it does actually get refit in its own...
Well, yeah, there were minor refits that have been documented through the course of the production ship, anyway. David Bessick throws in $5.
Thank you.
You very much. Is anybody happy that I'm back? I wasn't here yesterday. Nobody cares. Nobody even noticed. Thank you guys. Anyway,
I'm back. What a great setup.
David Bessick puts in $5. Thank you for your balanced reviews, calling out the good and the bad, promoting civilized and intelligent Discord on the new series. Well, thank you, David. That's exactly what we intend. Just having an open discussion about it. You can like it, you can hate it, as long as you're willing to talk about it and be respectful of others and their opinions. We welcome you guys. That's kind of what we do here. Sure, I'll say I hate something or I hate that or whatever, but then, you know, I also like different aspects as well. So we're not haters nor lovers. We're here and we're talking about it.
And everyone does like different things. I was talking to a friend of mine that actually hates Orville partially because he hates Seth, but I'm like, oh, he thought, you know, 09 stories, the 09 story and Discovery stuff was better than Orville with the writing. I'm like, really? At the point, I sort of stopped having that conversation. It's like, well, I can't change your mind if you hate Orville and you think that's worse written than Discovery. It's like, okay, sure. So we've all got different opinions, and at some point, you know, at some point, you know, if some people hate the quirky, fun tone of TOS,
and a lot of people do hate TOS.
So Discovery is the show they've always wanted, but for those who've watched it for most of their lives, and you know, again, people like B.J. Trimble who got the show back, and Doug Drexler who were part of the original campaign, they sort of do know best because they're the ones that they are the only reason we got a season 3 of TOS, and then got the movie, and then got, you know, it's like those.
I dare say that every iteration of Star Trek, every series, every movie brings something new and valuable to the franchise, and certain people will like certain aspects of those, and some other people won't. And it's just the way life is. Now, Dreamer out there asked for animation number 6, but they forgot to ask when they super chatted. So, and Jill Wright put super chat 18. So yeah. Just so you guys, 6, just so you know, 6 and 18.
Okay. I have to change that cost thing. That's fine. I'll do it now then.
But anyway, we got a few episodes to burn through really in like 2 hours. I don't want to keep this like 4 or 5 hours long because no. I've had a rough couple of days. I'm getting up early and running around doing stuff. So I'm tired, and you know, 2 hours is going to be good for me. So let's get into it.
Okay. So where do we leave off, Stuart?
They're in the mirror universe, and
reveal.
Right. Now, do we want to hit certain plot points, or do we just want to do a general discussion, or should we just focus on characters?
No idea. We're trying to cram a lot in, so I don't know, honestly.
Okay. Let's just talk about Lorca first. Lorca, um,
Yeah.
seems to be played to be the Federation captain right till the reveal. And I don't know why they decided to do that. There should have been more subtle hints. Even with the way he was talking to Burnham, I really didn't see anything that was kind of pointing in that direction. They were really, hedging their bets and keeping their cards very close to the chest with this one, right to the end, because they didn't want to make it too obvious, even though a lot of people had already guessed it, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well that worked for them, but I got to say, once Lorca came out as Mirror Universe, I loved this. Well, I love Lorca regardless, whether he's being the Federation up to that point or whatever, or being the Mirror Lorca. It was interesting when he's in the agonizer booth and the one guy wants to kill him, and he's like, tell me my sister's name and what you did to her, and it's almost like you feel bad for Lorca because you're like, he doesn't know her name, he's not from this universe, and he plays it like that, like the look on his face is like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I can't tell you, even if my life literally depends on it, and I can't tell you. But then, yeah, he kills him and says her name, and it's like, wow, really? Defiant to the end. By the way, is there a Trek Yards Discord? Asks Astro Noah. And yes, there is. It's in the description. You can click the link and head over to the Discord and have conversations there. Thank you. Joseph just shared it in the chat there. I will. There we go. So, yeah. Now moving on to Landry. Landry, who got killed by the tardigrade. She was a bitch in the Prime universe, and I think she was originally written to have come over with Lorca, almost, it seems, and be his security chief from the Mirror Universe. But then they decided to kill the character, and then when it came to the Mirror Universe, they're like, oh shit, she's still there. So they made her the exact same character in both universes, which I was very annoyed with. She was just not a friendly person at all. So I didn't like Landry. Landry couldn't have been killed soon enough. I agree. Landry was the worst. John Harrison puts in £5. Thank you very much, John. Hey guys, with all these other shows they are making, I would love to see a show in the Enterprise C era just to see more ships from that point. And he wants animation 19, please. I agree. That Lost era, the aesthetic of the Enterprise C, that post-movie era look leading up to TNG would be fantastic. I would love to see that explored, as long as it's done well. I would love to see more ships in that era, absolutely. And the uniforms kind of lose me, though. Having the Magnificent Maroon without the belt or the turtleneck just looks sloppy. But small little changes could be made to improve that and still maintain that look. Dreamer out there says, I've hated Landry since she was killed. And she killed Callie in BSG. Oh, she was in BSG? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's where she was known from. That's why she was like, hey, look, someone from the sci-fi world. Okay,
Doomcock.
What?
Doomcock and the others saying it's all canceled, all new show announcements are fake. Is he okay? He's got sources that aren't reliable, I think. But let him do his thing, and all the best to him.
Yeah, we've heard so many things over the course of a few years, and most have never remotely turned out. So we tend to only report stuff we actually know, because guess what? People actually come to us for actual facts. And we're proud of being actual facts. And we report on actual facts when we actually know them. And we obviously have interior knowledge as well, but that's mostly design-wise. That's what they trust us with, because, people know us.
Yeah.
And such. So I just want to go through these 3 super chats, and I'll go back to... So I think you're right. It's starting with big plot points, and then discussing how that affected those multiple episodes. I think would be good.
Yeah.
A good way of doing it.
Yeah.
And there you go. Okay. There we go. So... Gabriel Lorca is interesting because I rewatched 3 episodes today, which is the rest of the Lorca arc, and we'd watched the last one a few weeks ago, so that's fair. The pace obviously was a lot slowed. Watched them week on week last time, but not knowing where it was going. This time around it was week on week, we did know where it was going. So there's a little bit of
Yes.
whatever. But this time round, watching obviously you now know it, and the show is designed also to be binge watched, and it needs repeat viewing ability. That's why you put in the hints early on, because if you miss them the first time, you go back and you enjoy them. That's why early on he put a few things, the hints in, and then they clearly the writers and directors said, yeah, we're gonna really reel that in with Lorca and let him be more heroic and lose all mirror to not, if we're going into the mirror universe, if he keeps being a bit of a dick, his reveal isn't going to mean much. If he's a hero, the reveal is going to mean more. Problem is they didn't set up that character to start off with, and you can't do both. And the fact they tried to do both meant that he became really vanilla in his last 3 episodes before, or the last 2 before he became Mirror Lorca. And I mean that in the way that in watching those episodes, he's so little in those episodes that his reveal, now watching it this way around, knowing it's a reveal, it's like, you've barely been in the last 3. And you haven't been evil, you've been, you know what I mean? It doesn't work as well, actually, the second time round. And obviously, because we were so analysing the first time round, we were debating, we were thinking, also we knew he was, we guessed he was. But this time around, the impact had very little. It was like, oh, he's here too. Like, he's so not focused on for those 2 episodes or 3 episodes of Mirror that it's not important. Whereas he should have been the primary, part of that, and then the reveal means more. And then he suddenly flips and he becomes a hero, or the primary of those parts again. But then all he's doing is going through the motions. And I watched his entire end arc, and his Mirror Universe he loses most of his characterization. He loses most of his interesting stuff. He's not that strategic. He's not very interesting. He's just reacting to stuff. And I kept asking myself, why is he overthrowing the Emperor? Why is he better? Why is he worse? Why do people trust him? Why is he interesting now? He had no motivation beyond, I think Georgiou's crap. But given that they talked specifically about how Lorca knew Burnham since she was a child, that means Empress Georgiou has been either Empress or higher up in the chain of command for 20 or more years, so has Lorca. So for 20 years, he's been following this lady, and then he wants to rebel against her for reasons. And I watched it all again, so it goes really like I said that at the time, but it goes very, very one-dimensional to the point of, at least the whole point of the show is to be more realistic, more dark, more interesting, but they crushed that character right down to I'm going to take over the Empire. Why? Because I'm evil. But you haven't been evil for the last 5 episodes. Shut up. I'm evil again. I mean...
Well, that's symptomatic of rewrites, juggling stuff on the fly, trying to change, production teams and, catch up with all the changes they made. Because this was like a dog's breakfast of plots and things that were just all thrown together and not well executed. Started well, and then just kind of went, we got to wrap this up and do our own thing. So let's scramble last minute to tie all this stuff together.
It
didn't really work so well.
But what do you think about the it wasn't a strong reveal the second time round? What do you think?
I don't know if I'd agree necessarily. Like I said, the way they played him up in that whichever episode it was, where he's in the agonizer booth and he's basically Federation captain right to the turn, that made it like, if you forgot.
Yeah, no, I agree. The moment was still brilliant, but they didn't have any lead up again. They lost him. They threw him away for 2 episodes, and then thought, oh crap, we need to lead him up. And then we'll give him one great scene. But they've had scenes like that, to test him, to show him. Like, it ramped up from 0 to 100, but that wasn't earned. Whereas if they'd actually had him continuously being more evil and more whatever, this time it didn't work as well to me. And that's the thing. They should thrive on a second viewing, where you know everything. And again, because every time we were hoping for what his motivation, hoping for the next story, but now you know the story, that you can be let down by the one-dimensional nature, because you're rewatching thinking, oh, this is it, this is all you are. You hate Georgiou. Okay, I mean, should be better than that,
Yeah. Gmon78 puts in £5.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't keen on Discovery, but have to admit I lost my shit at the Enterprise reveal, even though I expected it. And animation number 1, please. I'm the same way. Okay, when I was sitting on that couch, the first time I heard that music, that saw the red Bizarre collectors in the distance, I was like, oh, and I got the chills, and you see it come past the camera, and it looks beautiful. It is a nice ship. Um, and then settle right in front of Discovery. I was like, oh, I watched the scene back a few times.
I think we all
right
did
away. Yeah. And then it started to sink in and go, well, that's not Prime. Damn it. And then it's, yeah. And then the whole.
Because we got, they're trying to give us the same chills we got in Trials and Tribulations and Intima Darkly, where you're like, can you remember that moment actually seeing the Connie on the view screen of the NX-01 when it zooms in? You're like, oh, that looks really incredible. Yeah. This is they're really doing it. They're gonna go full hog, and then they beam on, and the bridge lights on. And you're like, oh, that looks the best Connie bridge you've ever seen. Holy shit! And then it keeps going. Like, oh, they're not gonna build all the sets. Oh, they built a full corridor. Oh, they built a Jeffries tube. Oh my god, they built everything. Like that kept building. Trials and Tribulations, same thing, but that was a while ago. This one is like, there's the Enterprise. They're gonna screw up the bridge, aren't they? And the bloody window. Then it's like, it's constant problems because they're shooting themselves in the foot. Whereas do it properly, and you get all the fan love. And as I've said before, the best way to do it is you take the raw sets, you replicate the exact structure of them to a T, but you can replace all the materials and add details galore. But you recreate the exact... Because then you can make shots like they made in the 60s. Because the building material is the same in terms of the structure. I mean, we see how Star Trek Continues can do that classic bridge shot and look so good. Build the basic floor plan, which is also cheap and easy and simple, but just modernize it once you've got to that stage. Yeah. And that will be enough to say, that's fine. Yeah. You know? Don't redress a Shinzo corridor and say, don't redress a Shinzo corridor as a Discovery corridor, as Enterprise corridor, and say, yes, here we are, 60 years of ship evolution. It's the same corridor. And they were like, no, it's not. Do you remember when they redid the Voyager, and they redid for Voyager, the Enterprise D corridor, and it's the exact same corridor they use on Voyager, they just repaint it and redo it? It feels totally different. Same thing. That's how you do it.
/.-121 puts in £1.99. Show us a nipple, Captain. No, because that'll get us banned from YouTube. Robert Suarez puts in $2. Klingon War was botched because of the Mirror Universe.
Well, should we go into that? Because that's...
Well...
Okay, last super chat. Yeah, go for it.
John Harrison puts in £5. Thank you, John. Command the Mirror Sticks Dreadnought Cruiser. Check this out, STO. Well, we might have something coming up on that. Stay tuned. Should we just tell them? No.
Yeah,
I'll leave it in your wheelhouse to tell them.
Working on it for sure. So the problem with the Klingon War and Discovery arc, and the Mirror Universe arc, is they're both intended, but as we know, the Mirror Universe arc was meant to be 4 episodes earlier, but they also then rewrote the rest of the storyline of the season. So now they've... Whatever the Klingon arc was meant to be, it got changed.
I got to jump on something real quick before it flies by. Dreamer out there put in $5 on PayPal and says, does this mean Starfleet knows all about the Mirror Universe before Kirk's crossover and the animation number 2?
Jesus. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to read that before it flew by because it wasn't in the super chat window. So,
sure.
What were you talking about? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Do you even? Oh, the Klingon War.
Oh yeah. So if you have an arc, I know that Brian Fuller had those full episodes worked out, and I think it was obviously originally 13. They had to be given 2 more because when they swapped it around again, they couldn't finish the arc quick enough. So they had to be given 2 full more episodes, and that could have been like a $30 million budget just to finish the arc because they messed it around. They created 4 episodes of filler. 4 episodes away from filler. Yeah. Well, no, opposite. And so by doing that, they had to then build Mirror Universe arc again, and then gave them 2 episodes to finish off the Klingon arc, and it's an appalling end for the most part. And even if that was originally the plan to possibly blow it up, although it reeks of shit. What's an easy way out? This, sure. It reeks of that.
Reeks of contrivance, yes.
Whereas if you'd had Mirror Universe earlier, get rid of, because what's the storyline of that season? Is it the Klingon arc or is it the Mirror arc? If it's a Klingon arc, you don't need as much Mirror Universe. If it's Mirror Universe arc, you don't need the first 2 episodes. They could be flashbacks. Start from episode 3. Give us Lorca straight if he's the reason, if he's the important thing. They did both and they failed both. The Mirror Universe came out on top, but that's because they shortchanged the Klingon arc. But if they did then get back to our universe, I think they'd still only have 3 episodes for the end without those 2 extra, so it still wouldn't have much more time. But yeah, they shortchanged each other, which is why I'm excited for season 2, because there shouldn't be as much of these problems, except they've spent all their budget on the first 2 episodes, and then they've changed team, and then but they've also had more time for reshoots. They've actually reshot stuff for the earlier episodes. I'm sure they've added in more comedy and more levity and more Pike. I guarantee there's more Pike than there used to be in the original edit, because the fan reaction was pretty much positive, just positive. And can you imagine the first trailer comes out, because they were throwing trailers at us like real quickly and reasonably ahead of time, and it's not unreasonable to then say, oh, they love this tone. Okay, we'll write 3 new scenes to replace, or rewrite these current scenes with more comedy and levity. Well, they're already on set. We'll just film them quickly for episode 1. There's no VFX involved. We'll just shove them in. I'm guaranteed there's at least one scene they did that for. But it shows they've understood they made a mistake, and that's the first. It's like being a drug addict. First step, admit you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Dreamer Out There's thing, it would seem that they did know about the crossover, the Prime Universe, whatever, before Kirk crossed over.
Yep.
But it was very limited, as when they got the information on the Defiant, it was all redacted. So they needed to go find the original file. So who knows who saw the original file? What happened to the ship? We don't know. That's another big plot hole in our opinion, because that ship should have been a game changer. And the Charon we see, the Empress ship, had nothing that could be linked back to a Prime Universe Defiant, even though the Defiant we saw in the wireframe was clearly altered. I don't know. So yeah, they would have known, but did they really? No, not really. So there you go. //-121 puts another £1.99. Show us your toes, Commander. That's really... I'm worried about you, man. That the // you're kind of scaring me. Samuel just has no response. So moving along. Roberto Suarez puts in $2. Georgiou's reveal to the Discovery crew was horrendous. Which one? The Empress or the Captain Georgiou is back to save us from the Klingons? I hated that. That was just stupid. But anyway. Yeah. So I would agree with you on both counts. And we saw that coming a mile away. We're like, the Emperor, they call her Emperor, even though she's an Empress, but whatever. We kind of guessed that. So.
Now, question. We've both now today watched Empress Georgiou in her element.
Yes.
Now, what do you think then, and 170 people watching, which is brilliant, to those people, and what do you think then about the Section 31 show in the context? Now, we've now relived this character who'll be the lead of our new show, this beacon of hope, and how she acts in her own universe, which is a guide point to how she'll be in ours. What do you think?
Just of the show in general, or of the
Both.
character?
The
show in general is a stupid idea. Let's get away from the dark, subversive Federation that Section 31's been shoehorned into, and now is everywhere. I hate that. Not a fan of the actress personally, and she did fit the role of the Empress much better. She had
some swag.
Yeah, I get in trouble for saying she was a bitch, but she was a bitch, and it came across. And as an emperor of the Mirror Universe, that makes perfect sense. So I can see her being a bit of a pain in the ass in this Section 31 show, but Section 31 made a huge mistake by drafting her. Basically, she's a genocidal maniac. It just seems, even out of Section 31's, it just doesn't make sense to really bring her in my opinion. It's the wrong direction for Section 31. makes the whole covert ops thing just make them look like a bunch of assholes now, because they're just, oh, we don't care that you've killed hundreds of thousands of people, or maybe millions, because you kill complete planets probably. Come join, help save the Federation ideals by joining Section 31, because we're here to maintain. Yeah, it just.
Well,
that's my thoughts on it.
And seeing her today, I mean, it's just like she must have. She got to that position by being absolutely horrible. I mean, you know, and although I will say she was clinically murdery at snap.
Yeah.
But she actually played it very subdued. Like, she wasn't as evil feeling as, like, Kirk was in the small amount we got to see him. You know, she, you know, once she was at the top, she wasn't yelling at you. And I think, I don't know, like, she would need to be a different character for it to work. And maybe losing everything makes her rethink her identity as a person. But I mean, they didn't know that when they were writing that. And they didn't know that we're writing season 2. I mean, as in, before they started writing season 2. They said, we've got her, what do we do with her? But, as we see often, I mean, think about Saru. They just retconned him to be this weird, we don't know his backstory. That wasn't his original vision. So now they're going to retcon Georgiou to be like 25% less evil, their classic number. And then she might just work, because if she's less evil, then maybe she can do it. And then we'll forget she's Mirror very quickly, even though she'll be ruthless.
Interesting thing to me about the Section 31 thing is the Admiralty of the Federation knows that they know who she is.
Some.
Because they were responsible. Some, yes. But they're responsible for putting her in that position of leading the charge on what Kronos.
Yep.
Then Section 31 recruits her, but the Admiralty doesn't necessarily know about Section 31, most of them. So they'd have to keep tabs on her as to what she's doing, because obviously she's a threat. She's a dangerous person. But if she's working for Section 31 and goes off the radar on a regular basis, the Admiralty is going to get suspicious. It's going to cause problems within the Federation itself. So the Section 31 show doesn't make any sense, because not all the Admiralty know about Section 31. That's the point of Section 31. It seems like everybody here just knows about it, because the trailer, we see her show her black badge and go, I'm part of a club. It's like, really? Wow. You just showed a captain and somebody that was court-martialed but is a commander.
The only mutiny in all of Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows that you're a homicidal, genocidal maniac. So
it's amazing how quickly Discovery Team can devalue things we love. That's a strong summary of that. But you mentioned, I agree, the Admiralty wanted to keep tabs on her, but you got to remember where we left off. She was on Kronos. The Admiralty they know she's there. There's no Federation spies on Kronos that are keeping tabs on her. Like, I think at that point, she's probably under the radar enough.
No, because her going on to Discovery with Pike in command, it's going to be in Pike's captain's log that she was there, unless Section 31 overrides that. And it seems.
Well, we don't know. We don't know the gap in between. That's a stretch, because we don't know. We don't even know when she appears on the ship. She's obviously on Kronos to start off with. I think we need to wait to see, because I can easily imagine. I can easily imagine that the admiral that knows, the two admirals that know, would just say, "Yep, she's on Kronos."
We don't need to keep tabs on her. She's fine.
She's on. Yeah, she's or dead on Kronos. Okay. But then they just
homicidal genocidal maniac that ruled an empire in a mirror universe is now on your enemy's homeworld planet. There's no need to keep an eye on her. There's no need to keep an eye on what she's doing. Of course, it's fine. Really? No.
Question. What if the Section 31 badge, which is why they wear it, actually scrambles sensor readings?
Well, that makes sense. But let's hit these 3 super chats and we'll talk.
Oh, 3? From that point. Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Gmon78 puts in £5. I'll show him my nips for a $5. PM me. So /.-121 PM Gmon78. He will show you his nips for $5. There you go. And he wants animation number 12. Joseph Petrick puts in €2. All shocking reveals were con-like predictable. Yes. If you watch our reviews leading up to from season 1, we guessed a lot of this stuff going along.
Early. Yeah.
/.-121 puts in another $1.99 and says all the super chats are going to anti-trekker now, and he did this. So all right, well, I'm sorry, because we're not, you know. Yes. Anyway, so the black badges scrambling signals. Yeah, I totally buy that, but do they also have like holographic projections that like make them look gold so they don't look special, or do they just beam that into people's heads? Like, nothing to see here. Jedi mind trick, everyone.
I mean, we know that Georgiou has this amazing holographic, you know, camouflage suit thing. So they've got holographic suit stuff. I would now see, just by going with what we've got. If you, okay, you've got an average ship. Okay, no. So say you walk onto Earth space dock, right? And you see an admiral and you're a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Would you feel like go up and say hi to an admiral? Like average day, he's just walking through the corridor, clearly going somewhere. I think everyone would be busy. Would you actually feel like you could say hello?
Yeah, I'd nod and say, Admiral.
Okay, that's
want to get.
That's different.
Want to get noticed.
But that's different.
Okay.
Actually, stop him and talk to him. Would you actually make an effort? Random situation, or would you feel like, no, he's doing his job, I'll let him be? You know what I mean? Is there these levels of, okay, we're not going to actually deal with people if we don't have to? So the Section 31 badge, if people think that is a brand of Starfleet intelligence, and you don't want to deal with, like, you've been ensign or a lieutenant or a scientist, you don't want to deal with that, then even though you're seeing this badge, the mental state is, I'm not going to deal with that, and then the digital trace has been deleted, so therefore, what are you getting from that? Well, these intelligence guys are on the ship. So therefore, the Georgiou sort of thing, it's like, okay, people, okay, hurts, but different people will know, but there's still a sense of secrecy. What do you think? Rather than major, actually Section 31 stupid badge thing. There's a reason for it, a legit reason.
Okay, I kind of buy that, I guess. But then to have Georgiou go back on Discovery when everyone on Discovery knows who she is, well, the head people know she's the Emperor. Yes. The other people think she's Captain Georgiou, which is some legendary captain, because right up there with Robert April and stuff on that list.
And you would think they'd tell people, hey, did you know Georgiou's alive? What? She was eating my Klingons. Oh, no, she's alive. I saw her a lot. I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I don't know if I buy that 100%.
But we don't know. We don't know if she comes on and she insists the shuttle bay is cleared and she only meets Pike and Thingy. She doesn't know.
We'll see. We'll see. Some Joseph said in the comments there, the chat, he said, is there ever going to be any black Trek Yards badges? Ooh. The answer is yes, there is. We actually have some. I've showed them off before in Captain's Logs. But that's another topic. We have another super chat of 1,000
rubles. Thank you.
He says, that's fine. All Star Trek admirals are evil and or insane. I wouldn't say all. I'd say like 90% are complete dickheads. Yes. I got a real problem with a lot of the admirals we see in Star Trek. I know they're just plot devices. They're, just, we need somebody to do this thing. And, an admiral, the captain has no choice but to obey the orders. So I get it. But really, getting that admiral upgrade or promotion tends to make you go insane.
Power corrupts literally instantly that day.
Yes.
Anyway, so we'll talk about Lorca. I'll talk about Landry briefly. What was my note on Landry? So I wrote notes. I was watching them all. Not a lot of notes, but things that really stood out to me. Landry's a weak payoff. Yeah, I absolutely agree. She was either definitely meant to be Mirror or they're meant to set her up. We know that there was meant to be a love interest between Lorca and her. That's how the actress played it, and then she got a script and she was dead one day. She didn't even know it was coming, so they swapped that. Now, I could easily see that the Burnham, he loves Burnham story, or he I don't even know how to say that. He infatuated Burnham when she was in her teenage years and then became a couple sort of secretly. That feels also like a tack on. Like, that could easily just be thrown in there once they ran out of stuff, because that's the only reason he wants Burnham. There's nothing else. Everyone keeps talking about her skills, but her skills are super limited really if you break them down. And
And it's funny because he reinforced the whole Mary Sue argument that a lot of people are making. He
Yep.
goes, "My Burnham was incredible, but you surpass her skills." And it's like, really? Yeah, because of her upbringing with the Vulcan Science Academy. I kind of get that. I kind of get that more focused instead of because she wasn't raised by Vulcans, obviously, in the Mirror universe. So yes,
no,
a
her
smart
parents
person.
still died. Both universes,
yeah.
they called that out, so we actually don't know who raised her.
True, but it wasn't Sarek, that's for sure, because he mind melded with her, and
Yep.
yeah. So, but yeah, with the razor focus of Vulcan learning, I can see her being more dangerous. But it's really that line just reinforced all the Mary Sue arguments. But, I heard that line, I was just shaking my head. I was like, damn it.
Think about what this Burnham can do. She's a xenobiologist good with space creatures. Her skill set is not... She has basic Vulcan fighting, and you know what I mean? Whereas the Burnham in his Earth will have lots of tactical experience, lots of tech experience, lots of command experience, lots of killing experience, lots of biological weapon experience. All those things. I don't... Yes, one might be more razor-focused, but his Burnham was far more capable in every field except xenobiology. It's like, you know, this Burnham would take many years to get up to the same standard as the other one. And he spent a year with her as well. So there's classic examples of reinforcing how great Burnham is.
Yeah,
she really isn't. It's
the
quite
Empress
frustrating. Really.
The Empress raised Mir Michael. That's who raised her after her parents died.
And that more deadly, surely. The Empress has unlimited resources and ruthlessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burnham's talents far outstretch her mirror counterparts. My note was, what talents? She's okay at best. Show us. I mean, and her escape. The problem with like her escape and the gun battles in that episode in particular, no one can aim except them. Gun battles aren't interesting if the villains are actively missing. Like, you know what I mean? If there was two guns to your head and the guy does a Matrix move, but you can see as an audience, okay, he should have hit him. That's not a good move. That's a dumb move. You need to actually have the realism factor to make it work. And her escape in that scene where she gets out of the office, several people should have shot her. These are Georgiou's elite guards with the elite rifles, the elite armory. Okay, yes, they're using 50-year-old rifles, whatever. If you look at the Enterprise, they should be using TOS rifles, advanced rifles. How are they missing? It doesn't. Whereas everyone else gets in one shot. It's classic baddie trope. But then give her something. Have Burnham hit a device and make a flashbang. Do something smart. She doesn't. You know. She just.
She doesn't even know how to use a phaser because she holds it backwards.
Yeah.
In one scene.
Never saw that in the first one, but this one it stands out a bit. It's a really bad cut.
Yeah. I just want to hit one super chat and then we're caught up. Joseph Petrick puts in €2 and says, Yeveng, I'm going to butcher the name, whatever, is the name, and he sent 15 USD. Yeah, we know the conversion rate for those. So thank you, Joseph. I still don't want to say his name. I don't want to insult the guy. I'm bad with those names, so I apologize.
Shall I just hit you some of my points and we can talk about them because I did notes as we went through.
I didn't have time to take notes. I was doing like 15 other things.
Yeah, I didn't have many over like 2.5 hours of watching this stuff. So it's like, first point I had on the first episode we get into Mirror Universe, instantly with the Shinjo, Mirror Universe is brighter. CGI the normal universe.
But they don't like the light.
Yeah.
Empress Georgiou said it's the only physical or biological difference between your universe and ours. Really? And then there's a flashback to all the instances where she remembers that Lorca was... That's the beginning of that reveal that Lorca's from the Mirror Universe. All the instances where he's got to zap his eyes. And
Anti-Trek also points out that Burnham was on the Shinjo for 7 years, and that got her to XO. I'm assuming that Burnham in the Mirror Universe took a lot less years to be, you know, one of the head killers of the Empire. So look at skill set. Burnham just got to XO in 7 years, and the other one... I mean, 7 years is quite quick, but that's also because plot. But it's amazed me, the shot of the Shinjo. It's like, that's the best shot of the Shinjo I've ever had, and it's the mirror Shinjo with lights. Normally, if you want to show visual contrast, you make the first part of the season really bright, knowing that the mirror, and then we would say, that CGI is really dark. Mirror Universe. But I was like, that's the best one of the best shots in the show. Mirror Universe. So they dropped the ball because people reacted to the darkness and they changed it, which is what we see from then on. There's some, Discovery has some real dark shots, but they really brightened up the CGI, and then by the end they really brightened up the CGI. So it's just weird to know that was the time to have the actively dark CGI.
Good point. I never even really noticed that, but
Well, everything's all in
well, you
hindsight.
would. You're the CG guy.
But it's a real nice. Like that Shinjo was a great shot. They've used it properly for the first time in the entire show, and it's with a mirror alternate evil version. It's crazy. This was a big note I said, and this is that episode. Burnham gets, well, she says it's getting easier to pass for evil. And I said, in 2 days? Boy, that shows how evil she is. The other characters in TOS had more trouble and were seen and were noticed earlier. Shows how much darker Discovery is that she can pass easily. What does that say about our heroes?
Well, okay, yeah.
I was surprised by that now, because you know the payoff, and there's no payoff to that. You know, and these are just things I noticed. Like again, it's well shot, it's better scripted, you know, all these positive things. But now we know the story is what we're talking about, and this is where again Discovery has a lot of those holes. Like we're not bitching about the art design anymore because that's long dead. But this is story stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, she even calls it out like. It's easier than I thought. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're telling me you are almost as evil as a captain of a Mirror Universe flagship, daughter of the Empress who was raised by her, and people believe that you're this person. Kirk didn't manage it for a single day. Seriously. He got Spock worked out instantly. So I was like, Jesus, if our heroes were nicer. Like Cisco, bit of a rough guy. You can buy him, you know, he's not really a good pure guy, but he's a complex guy, so when he pretends to be smiley, you buy it, you know. Whereas if Picard was trying to be Mirror, I would have a hard time thinking Picard could be Mirror in the same way. He's too good, you know.
Joseph says the chat is disturbing and funny. Is anyone actually paying attention to Stuart and Sam? I hope not, because we'll just chat back and forth. They can do their own thing in the chat. But Roger Grain puts in €10.
Ah, thanks, sir.
Rewatched the show, love the uniforms. Somehow all the rest went wrong. Ships, Klingons, tech, etc. The Orville got us diversity more than this. The Force stuff really makes it hard to like.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Although I kind of disagree with you on the uniforms a little bit. They are very nice, and they would look good for like a dress uniform of some kind.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
But not as an everyday wear.
If they were Shinjo and they updated to a more TOS version for Discovery. Because then it'd be cool. It'd be cool they put money and time into the prequel, because it makes sense if Shinjo is 40-ish years old, that's halfway between Discovery and TOS, between Discovery and, you know, that would be kind of cool. And then new uniforms, cool, everyone looks great. Or if they didn't have those crappy Delta metal bits, if that was like the TOS fabric, so it was blue and those colors, it would have been. Those uniforms were easy to make look a bit better. They're good in theory, but it's like I prefer the Beyond uniform. The blue with a patch of red and colours. I think those were slightly nicer, at least in terms of canon-y.
Herbsta Magnus says, "Come on, Enterprise fans, explain that intro music. The intro music makes perfect sense if you listen to the lyrics." Doug is a big fan of the intro music. He really loves what it. Doug Drugs we were talking about.
I have a little problem with that intro.
I don't mind the music at all. And if you listen to the lyrics, it talks about the history of getting to space, essentially.
Yeah, that's a lovely.
Jill Wright.
And then we get the Awesome Mirror Universe version, which gives it all the reason we need for it, because that's a superb intro.
Yes. Jill Wright puts in $2.
Thank you, Jill.
Seemed like a couple of months in the Mirror Universe to me.
What? No. What, for the TOS Kirk? Because I said it was only a day for the TOS Kirk.
Oh, I don't know, because it definitely didn't feel like that to me, for sure, for TOS.
Because think about it, he was actively not obeying orders and destroying that planet. So I don't think Starfleet would wait a couple of months to give him orders. And
it was like a day in TOS.
But a day and a night probably. It was like 24 hours of time. And I would have assumed that Milano, is that her name? The lady?
Marlena Moreau.
Yeah, she would have noticed, she was really catching on to him very quickly. I don't think he could have, kept that very long. Because you know your male, it's like if your wife was suddenly evil Mirror Universe, you wouldn't take that long to notice.
I wouldn't know because Sylvia's evil as it is.
I knew you were going to.
I think she is from the Mirror Universe, actually.
Dum dum dum.
Dun, dun, dun.
So the whole thing was a plan to start Trek Yard. So when she stabs you in the back, she gets to take Trek Yards for it. And Jill meant Discovery. Well, they actually call out that Burnham was only on the ISS Shinjo for 2 days,
Yeah.
And then they literally go to the planet, and then they find the Andorian, which in itself is about a day. Then they get to Georgiou's thing, that's probably about a day. Yeah. And then maybe they spend a week refitting the ship, but no, a couple of months is not. No, it's sort of a week and a half.
I kind of got the feeling it was a week. Yeah.
And also they say, several months have passed in the Alpha Quadrant Prime timeline. That wouldn't be as impressive if a couple of months had already passed. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. I think Star Trek Discovery is to Trek as Wormhole Extreme is to Stargate.
You're not that wrong. Certainly feels like it.
I have no idea what that means. So
it's a spoof, internal spoof, where everything is meant to look sort of similar but wrong. Okay.
I know what you mean.
A bit stupider. My next note was two Sarus is fun because there's a scene when Saru is Burnham's aide, and then he leaves, and then he comes in as a hologram, and it's interesting to see her play. Haha, Saru, you're so... Oh, and then... Saru, Captain Saru. That was interesting. I still like that scene. They played that well. Because suddenly they gave Saru stuff to do. And he actually did well as a captain-ish.
And I love how he asked about the Kelpians, and she lied to him to spare his feelings, essentially. And then she ended up having to eat Kelpian. And then it was revealed that, you lied to me. But I think he understood at that point that she wasn't doing it to be malicious or... she was just trying to spare his feelings. So
well, he lied about Culber or didn't tell her. So I mean, they both did that. And I think that's why
he didn't lie. They agreed not to. I understand that totally. With her on another ship, doing her thing, dealing with all this, and that being said, I got to point out that I really enjoyed what happened to her. The fact that she was raised on Vulcan to kind of be, emotionless, whatever. She's never been in love. She falls in love with Tyler. Suddenly gets revealed that Tyler is Vok. Tyler almost kills her. Then she has to kill him, essentially, by beaming him out into space, even though it's a ploy to get him on board. So she beams him into space.
It could have.
Exactly. Beam him into space. And then literally, like a second later, when she goes up to the bridge, finds out that the Emperor is Georgiou, who's already died, and she feels guilty for her death in the Prime Universe. And earlier, when she first got here, she had to kill Connor, who she saw die.
Several days ago.
She's got on a emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And you can see it in her eyes. Like, that's some really good acting in that one scene when the hologram of Georgiou shows up and they zoom in on her face. The acting there is fantastic from her. For everything that character's been through and not used to having emotions, that is hellish, to say the least, what she had to do.
It's weird because she's playing it like 90% Vulcan. And when we never had a Vulcan primary lead, we normally have that emotional person to bounce off of. It's like having Data as the lead or Spock as the lead. It wouldn't quite work. You'd think of them as bland, but the complexity is in the deeper levels. But when you're relying on the deeper levels and not the sub, like you say, it was in the eyes in these bits. Like, yeah, that was absolutely there. But if you look at the surface level, it was very blank. That's the problem with that sort of acting. It's you can't be the whole time. It would have worked if she'd been like that in Mirror Universe exclusively, because it's like I'm playing this very like, but but yeah, I hadn't thought about that. The roller coaster certainly. And then she has to deal with Georgiou and lie about being who she isn't. I mean, most officers who aren't Mary Sue's wouldn't.
I was gonna say she's still finding out information about herself, that she was raised by the Empress. So there's all this information incoming with all this emotional baggage at the same time. Having to process all that and deal with that would be overwhelming to anyone.
Which is why her being so overpowered, walking into this hall with all these people and not even flinching, they do play it a bit too. She's capable of that because again, she's a xenobiologist. This is not her forte. I mean, if she was a Section 31 agent, sure.
Yeah.
But she takes that in very, very well. Back to Saru though for a second. He met, and I tried to again. We now know the retconned Saru origin. It's interesting. The actual Saru says, "My kind are few in our universe." It's interesting.
I kind of missed that, but okay,
yeah,
cool.
I was like, oh, so is there only one little encampment that we saw? I don't know. That was a weird line thrown there because now we know his. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My next note is on Lorca. because then Lorca was very underused until the moment of swap. But in the shuttle ride, which was again really, he was so Federation. And I do remember saying to you at the time, but he's being so good. He's just playing it so straight, and it's. But he does say sometimes the ends justify the terrible means. He was still talking the talk, but he wasn't acting the act, and that I thought was an interesting. They should have played it a bit more slimy, a bit more Burnham. You know, we need to do whatever we can. You know, a little bit more obvious, but you can see him like building the adrenaline of this scene. Because again, it was flat. Because I don't even think he was nervous. I think everything was going to according to his plan. Now he's in the plan. I think he was very calm, and he was too calm almost. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
But I gotta say, as I've said many times, I really enjoy Lorca's character. Whether he's good or bad, I don't care. He's a great actor, and it was a fantastic role. Lorca's one of my favorite Star Trek characters. But he's not the best captain, as Lord Master Lord Reloaded would say. Annie Trekker says, I am not toxic. I'm 100% organic. I only eat free-range Kelpians and Porg. Are they... No, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. I don't know. So what did you... Okay. Do we want to talk about the last episode now? Even though...
I mean, I have more notes just like...
Yeah, throw stuff at me.
Yeah, these are still in order. I thought it was interesting. They mentioned... So now, again, I didn't have any notes until the next episode. They actually go to the planet and they meet the Firewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Which in itself I thought was a great set of scenes. But it's interesting how they called Burnham out to be the Butcher of the Binary Stars.
Yeah.
And my note was, how could this event happen in the Mirror Universe? Like, the entire lead-up to Takuvma's rebellion thing was led by specifically our universe. How could any of that...
Be a parallel event, because she was captain of the Shinjo. She could have gone in and just massacred a bunch of Klingon ships that were...
Why were the Klingons in Federate... But it would have been Terran space. Why did they go in Terran space? Was Takuvma there? Was he not? Obviously, Vok was there. Burnham had the warship Shinjo. Did she have other ships? They weren't obviously just looking at a satellite thing being damaged. Was there a torchbearer? I don't think so, because they said all the culture got destroyed. You know what I mean? That's a very one location of the universe. I know it's a name drop, but I don't see how possibly that could have worked. If they had said, expand on that more, and we saw a flashback, and that would have been... I mean, it would have been great to see Captain Killy and... I mean, see their mirror counterpart. Wouldn't it have been cool if we actually seen a flashback, even like when Cybok, when Sarek is mind melding. It would have been cool if like they'd shared, because Burnham has some latent abilities because she shares his Katra slightly. It would have been cool if he sees into her mind, and he we cut to this weird Klingon version of a Klingon ship, like a more whatever, and they're on this bridge, him and Vok, and they're seeing all these mirror universe ships warping in. And we hear Captain Kill on the view screen saying, "Hey guys, we're gonna kill you all right now." And they're like, "No, this is our life." Okay, no, he's doing a human voice. Sorry. See, I can't do the Tyler voice because he's not talking like this. Talking fine. If he was then, saying, "No, but we are the last survivors of the Ruapenthe colony," or a name drop, whatever, and they just come in and massacre everyone. They're just going through. Say, let us go through your space, and that's why the rebellion started. Like, give us a completely different rationale for it, but I don't see how it possibly could have been a similar thing. Because at some point, if everything's parallel, then the Defiant made no impact. If the Defiant made no impact, then this massive thing that Enterprise set up has no point. Because then you're arguing that, okay, all these things happened, then, Cage happened, and all it just doesn't, so the binary star wasn't important.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
That's another example of references done very poorly, which is what Discovery is very well known for. It's a D7. No, it's not. Georgiou with all the best captains. No, she isn't. Set things up. I thought it was interesting then that Mirror Sarek is a rebel, but Mirror Spock actually truly believes in the Empire. I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Again, I never really considered that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he doesn't. He tries to reform the Empire, not destroy, not stop, not even take. He didn't even want command. Whereas Zarek is actively fighting the Empire.
Well, this is still presumably 10 years before the Mirror Universe TOS episode as well, so
there's no reason to assume that Spock isn't in there. I mean, he wouldn't be second in command of a Mirror Universe flagship if he
well,
wasn't.
him and his dad had a falling out because his dad wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Just the role reversal. Instead of Spock joining Starfleet, Spock's all pissed off at his dad for
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we think of the goatee Mirror Spock, but he actually believes in the Empire. He he didn't want the same level of negativity, but in TOS there wasn't the same racism against other races as much. In Enterprise it was really put in. This one kind of middling, but still pretty genocidal. And in TOS it wasn't as much a thing. Like you never got sense that Spock was hated because he was Vulcan. Exactly, it was.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was feared because he was a Vulcan more than hated.
Mr. Miles says, "I want to see the Mirror Borg." You're looking at them. I'm Canadian. You'll be assimilated, eh? Have some maple syrup. They're super nice, the Mirror Universe Borg.
Oh, 99 Caster, did you know the Kronos 1 is in a deleted Discovery scene on the DVD? I didn't think there was any VFX in the deleted scenes, because I've got that, but I haven't actually watched that. Can you let me know which deleted scene? Because I can go watch that, very quickly. Let me know, because that's... Although Kronos 1, I guess Air Force 1 is a long-standing title, but, it'd be weird to have it... Because I kind of like the idea of whatever his name is, the Chancellor naming it. I kind of like the idea of they name their own flagships. My next note was... So when we got the whole lovey-dovey Tyler and Burnham scene, I wrote, Tyler doesn't love Burnham, that's too quick. Unless it was specific programming. Thoughts?
Love is unpredictable, Samuel. You never know when it's going to crop up, how fast it's going to take hold. Love at first sight and all that, don't you know? So, who knows? But it could be that it might have been programmed to latch onto somebody emotionally, to kind of gain trust, or learn some inside information. Who knows? Never, again, that's something I didn't consider.
I guess it's just, what the chances of Tyler Vok falling in love with Burnham, the killer of T'Kuvma? Like, that's too big a coincidence. Whereas... he actually wants to kill Burnham. So you would think that, what better way to rip her apart than to make her love you? You know what I mean? I don't see how that can be as genuine. But then once the programming exists, and then the Tyler Vok entity becomes really confused, I can buy it just being, I think I'm in love, therefore I'm in love. What's the difference? But I can't... It wasn't organic enough. But I feel like it must have been... the coincidence factor there was too huge. He was going after her. He found a picture of her. This is like... Of all the people. Whereas, like, if Georgiou had killed T'Kuvma and let Burnham escape, it'd be like, oh, you're just one of the team. But it was her. I mean, it's the point that he hurt her. Like, it's too much of a small universe for me.
Yeah. It was... Yeah, okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Another thing, I thought it was interesting how trying to relate to Klingons, the most developed Klingons ever. To quote Tyler Vok, T'Kuvma was a beacon, and he's going to give us dominance over a submissive galaxy. Yep, developed Klingons, not radical terrorists at all. Yep, everyone praised T'Kuvma, not a radical terrorist killer at all. Like, go on, go on a Martok and not like, we're going to take over the whole galaxy. No, it's like, my empire's fine. We'll do some bits. Piss off. It's such the worst Klingons in the history of Star Trek is in Discovery. It's real a shame.
Yeah.
Little things just really stuck out to me now you know where it's going. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Thoughts?
I got nothing.
But some good points.
You're making some excellent points that I really didn't consider. So thank you for that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the few things that stuck out in 2.5 hours. It's like these are the truest, biggest points that was like in retrospect. Another thing, the mirror corridors are very dark because they don't like light. Very distinct, they try to make them dark. Let's look at TOS sets. Oh my god, really bright. In Mirror Universe episode. So, they made the effort.
Yes.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Funny.
Contrivance. Yeah.
A little bit. Jesus Christ. Stuart, the line was, another vessel is targeting the rebel planet from 27 million kilometers away.
Yes.
And they fire torpedoes from 27 kilometers away. 27 million kilometers away.
27 million.
Warp 1 for about a minute. And how the fuck did Mira Shinjo, a design which is 40 years old, detect target lock from 27 million kilometers away? What the hell is that? What is target lock? There's nothing on the planet that... I mean, they can detect torpedoes coming for minutes or hours, but there's no space signals to detect. What the hell was the scene meant to be? Have the ISS Shah just warp in, be like, oh, that would have been great. You know, warp in, bomb the planet, and they go straight up. Would have been a great scene. I don't understand the sequence. I don't even think they understand it. Thoughts?
No. Well, the 27 million, that stuck out to me right away. And you're right. I mean, it's bad writing. We pointed this out the first time. It's just not thought out. I like your idea of having the Shinjo warp in though, and just that would be much better, visually stunning. You know, more dramatic,
then
more
the scale
action.
Works.
Yeah.
And then imagine they reveal that core. Well, imagine they mentioned specifically in the episode they have planet destroying weapons. Can you imagine if? So imagine the scene. Burnham's like, okay, we've got the data. We'll do the planet in my own way. And then they say, Captain, energy vortex opening. And she's like, what? And then suddenly, this like sort of slip, like a more advanced technology to show us we're past, you know, past the discovery level technology, and the thing comes in, and it's got the spore drive in the middle, and we're like, what the fuck is that? And they say, Captain, it's targeting the planet. And it fires this big spore weapon beam, and it just destroys the entire planet. And then she hails and just holograms in. It's like, you know, meet me, you know, Burnham, meet me in my office now, and walks off. And it's like, ooh. Can you imagine that as a reveal? Like, it comes in, it's massive, it destroys a planet, and she bitch slaps Burnham, and then like tractor beams, and it forces the Shinjo to dock with the ship. Like, what a setup!
Yeah.
What an epic setup!
That would have taken too much. That would have taken too much visual effects that they didn't want to do because they don't want to show ships.
Yeah, but what we get is a ship firing torpedoes from a long way away, and them knowing it, and then it just. I mean, don't know. Oh, and then I wrote, USS Defiant as a red herring. The Defiant meant nothing, did nothing, was a red herring to get us excited. It should have been referenced, but it was an absolute red herring. Thoughts? Because we were hoping every episode it'd be there. Thoughts?
Oh, totally agree with you. The wireframe was a tease. Changing it was just a stupid idea. Had us talking, got a chance to make some videos out of it, and then when they get the information, yeah, you see the pad, everything's redacted. Sorry, there should have been some little tidbits in that. There might be if you can actually zoom in and read it. I don't know, but even a picture of the ship, something in the file would have been nice. But you're right, it was absolutely just a, oh, this thing happened. We know about Star Trek. That happened, right? Yeah. No. It was thrown in there to appease us, I guess, or show us a link to Inner Darkly. You know, they do know their Trek after all. That's what I think.
3 interesting comments. Mike Brown, 20 million miles. That's like taking shots from Mars.
Yeah, pretty much.
Quite far. I mean, just the sublight nature of a torpedo would take how many hours? I mean,
days.
How many days? How many weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. We want them to be more advanced. We want them to be used. We want them to have a completely new art style. We want them to have different guns and different uniforms because they are post USS Discovery tech. I would be happy if they had transwarp torpedoes or warp torpedoes. Like, that would be fine. That'd be how cool that'd be as a reveal as well. Imagine We see the Shinjo,
Yeah.
and they say, "Captain, warp signal detected." What? They're too small to be a ship. And they pan out Shinjo. We pan, and we see these 8, 10, 15 warp flares, and these missiles come in and destroy the planet. We're like, "Oh, damn!"
And yeah, and John's one of our admins says torpedoes can be accelerated to warp. Not so. They have warp sustainers. If they're launched at warp, then they can maintain warp. That would be a pretty short trip.
But that's a hell of a calculation to have the Charon at warp, to fire torpedoes at warp, drop out of warp, to then have the torpedoes actually hit the planet, not at warp, but at sublight, and at the correct coordinates. Wouldn't it be easier just to warp into orbit and shoot? I like the idea there, but it doesn't fit the strategic nature of the battle.
Yeah. And yeah, Captain Robert April's sustainer coils needed to already sustain warp field. Yes.
Some
there
more.
was a comment I saw. I just looked for those rare moments where Captain Foley cuts loose and lets us see just how he hates Discovery with his white-hot fury of 1,000 suns. I do get ranty sometimes, but...
See, I'm just going... I mean, I'm ranting each time, but it's on specific, very specific creative points.
Yes.
That I'm explaining why, and that's the important thing. There was another comment that I really liked, but I can't find it.
Yeah, it's one thing I hate about the regular chat. It's just so... It's hard to find things because they scroll by so fast, you don't want to interrupt somebody that's talking.
I can't find it, but it reminded me. Someone asked, do we honestly believe that the Discovery ships look more in canon than the Enterprise era ships? Don't we think those look just as not realistic and silly? And thoughts?
Say that again? I didn't quite understand that.
Well, I mean, are we not?
Do we think that the Discovery ships look...
I mean, are we not being unfair? Are we not giving extra credit to the Enterprise era? Are they not clearly, obviously not fitting? Just are the Discovery ships? How do the Discovery ships make less sense canonically than the Enterprise era designs? I think that was Why do we give them a pass, but not the Discovery era stuff? He obviously hates the Enterprise era stuff, thinking they don't fit pre-TOS.
Because, okay, I kind of agree because the pre-TOS canon was kind of set in my mind. Then Enterprise came along and screwed that up. I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, that show was made by people that cared about the franchise and tried really hard to make things fit. Doug Drexler, Mike Okuda, many other names. And I think they did a fantastic job of tying it together. So they don't all get passes. I mean, if you go watch our videos, I complain about that quite often, that it doesn't really fit in. But at least the show was made by people that care about the franchise a bit more, I think, and actually paid attention to that kind of thing.
Where that level of this needs to work is one of the most important things, rather than if it doesn't work, we'll tweak it till it does work. Like, it's more about how do we make our show fit than how to make the Trek lore fit with our show. It's like, that's not how Trek lore works.
Looks like you got some donations on PayPal.
Oh, okay. See, in my opinion, the Enterprise era ships work just fine because they just about look like Trek designs we can make now. They've got plates, they're silver, they've got bolts, you can see the welding. Like, it looks like a Federation style made today. And then when you can build ships with, one full piece, or 15 pieces rather than 150 pieces of hull armor, that's where you get advancement. So I see them as fine. They look more detailed, but so does the E, so does the Into a Darkly Enterprise even in some ways.
Oh. All right, there we go. Dreamer out there, Trekyard, send another $5 on PayPal. Do you think they know what they're giving us? Subpar ship porn that doesn't make sense, like the whole thing with the torpedoes and animation number 10. I don't think they care about
who doesn't care.
Whoever's in charge.
But that line is pretty.
I know, but they honestly, the word ship porn, I think doesn't even come up in the Discovery
lexicon.
Yeah, because the ship shots we've got so far in season 1 have been subpar. There's been one or two good ones, and not enough of them. by any means.
Well, they don't focus on the ship stuff. They don't focus on the sense of we need to build this sci-fi universe where ships are a big part of it.
It's a cool looking ship. Let's just go with that and not explain anything about how it fits into the established look of the ships. That's kind of the vibe I get from them.
And I have no idea where to find that animation I sent, because I sent you that Connie animation as a present. I have no idea where I'd find that, just so you know.
Okay.
I have no idea at all.
Which one is it?
The Enterprisey, sexy one. I'll show you something else I happen to. I'll show you the next refit one, because like I say, I have no idea where that would be.
I can send it to you.
Okie doke. Here's a different one, because I have here's an XO1 one for the XO1 episode. I was very proud of the original model of that.
There you go. I'm sending it to him, guys. So you'll get it. You'll get it, Dreamer, out there. Don't worry.
I feel like the VFX people, they had not enough time, not enough budget, and the wrong instructions, where they were having to follow a base script that didn't work. If you're given bad material, there's only so much you can do with it. So, you know what I mean. You tell Johnny Eves no cylinder and cells. I mean, you know what I mean? You give these people these silly... you give the makeup guy no hair, make him look alien and not Klingon. I mean, at what point is it just the guy's job and it's not the passion project anymore where you can't do anything about that? So it's a...
Yeah.
I think the VFX people ran out of time and they were just... The script said, weapons fire from unknown and then goes to warp. It's like, okay... I mean, we can't go to the people and say, hey, can you change this shot? You know, it's the writers. It all comes down to the writers. It always comes down to the writers.
And Fubar Model Yard says, did you guys know that Season 5 of Enterprise is supposed to have a secondary hull added to the Enterprise?
It could have had.
Yeah, we've talked to Doug Drexler about that. That was the idea. That he designed the ship always with that in mind. He always hold it up and make sure it worked. And we do have the SS Enterprise. Would have been the SS, not the USS. But yes, the addition of secondary hull was always a thing that was supposed to happen by the end of the series.
Yeah, it wasn't...
Whether it's Season 5, they weren't 100% sure.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual plan, but it was a thing they always considered as a possible, because it's such a payoff to have at some point. But it wasn't the plan for Season 5 so much. Wow, that's a big animation size. Jesus. Okay, we downloading.
The reason Enterprise failed as a series was the Xindi story arc. It took way too long and got boring.
Opposite for me.
No, I would agree. That's when I tuned out, as I've said. But now going back and rewatching it, it's really well done.
That's what Discovery Season 1 should have been.
But
that season is far better. It's far more compelling and more interesting characters. I mean, I watched Season 1 and 2 knowing it wasn't very good. I remember, like, I had BSG, Atlantis, SG-1, and Enterprise was the worst of all of those. Hands down, it was it was okay at best. Season 3 is when stuff started getting interesting. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And Season 4 was like, oh, this is great. So no, I completely disagree. I think it got good in Xindi. They took it seriously. They thought, we're going to commit. When you had more DS9 storytelling, you had continuity, you had development, you had real intense characters. I mean, all the actors got something great to do. Archer developed so amazingly strongly. He went dark, but he came back. You know, that show got dark, literally and figuratively. They started destroying the sets. They destroyed the bridge at one point. I mean, again, Discovery should have been Enterprise Season 3. Like, they already had done an amazing season arc, and to show how bad Discovery Season 1 is compared to something like Enterprise Season 3, it's like, wow. You know, especially if you'd edited down Enterprise Season 3 into 13 episodes. Jesus.
I agree with Zero Bang. Xindi arc dragged on forever without anything happening, one episode per week. It's fine now when you binge watch it.
Oh,
I would tend to agree.
Sure.
Waiting a week, and some of those episodes where they're just trying to find out how to get the missiles working and try to find some evidence. It is a little bit slow, and I understand that. It was made to be binge watched, unfortunately.
It was the same thing for Stargate Universe. I mean, Stargate Universe got cancelled because people weren't with it. Season 1 is incredibly slow, but when you binge it, it's incredibly rich because every episode is so characterful that it's genuinely boring when you watch it week on week. But when you watch it day by day, you when you get to Season 2, you know everything about all the characters. It's so full. And guess what? Everyone else, for the rest of time, is going to binge that show. Only one generation, only 1 year of people got to see Enterprise season 3 once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Forever and all time. 1 year's worth of people. Now, okay, the Trek fans saw it that first time, but how many people, don't you think more people have watched it in a rewatch than ever watched it live and saw it week on week?
I think newer fans to the show really enjoyed the Xindi story arc. Like you, Mr. Miles, there's a few other comments saying that they love the Xindi story arc.
Yep.
I think older fans like me kind of got drawn out of it at that point because of that. It wasn't as episodic as we had known Star Trek to be.
Well, no, it was very episodic also for the first like 8, and then it got really serialized because it slowed down.
I know, but you can see why we kind of tuned out. Plus, bringing in the Xindi, this new species, when you have a vast assortment of like the Tholians, the Gorns, the Lyrans, Kzinti, all those other ones that you could have used. Why create a new one? Just use something that already existed, or start the Romulan War.
Well, but
I think that would have made people stay if they'd done the Romulan War instead of the Xindi.
But it surprised me that season 2 didn't turn you off, because season 2 is not very good. Like, season 2 is especially coming out off DS9 and Voyager. It's like season 2. Like, why hadn't you already turned off? Why did the Xindi arc, which is better than season 2? You know what I mean? That confuses me now. You're saying that
season 2 had more of the episodic storytelling. I think. I'm sure they referenced it to past episodes, whatever, but it was more compartmentalized into per episode.
So you meant
it followed the formula a little bit closer that we had known and loved. And then Xindi tried to do the serialized thing, and it just kind of, I think, it lost people. That's
so you
all.
mean because there was lots of misses, but because every miss you saw, like, doesn't matter, next episode might be a hit. You watched it because each episode could be a good one, even if you didn't enjoy the one you just watched. Whereas season 3,
same with season 1 and 2 of TNG. There's some bad episodes that you tune back in for because it was just that one episode that we won't watch again. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. No, I can see that. But now, now you've watched season 3. Those final like 7 off the Degra is on your side.
I enjoyed it rewatching it. Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff is absolute Trek gold. Like, Degra is a tremendous character, and the Xindi main guy, and
I agree. And like I said, when I rewatched it back not that long ago, I could have kicked myself for tuning out when I did because it was really good. And you got to wait a week, but whatever. But now watching it and binge watching it, it's fantastically done. I really enjoyed it.
It's the best season of Enterprise because they had 22 episodes of development. It's just not got the best stories, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because season 4 had lots of small stories. It wasn't rather than just a big thing.
Jill says the Trek Yard's review about the Xindi aquatic cruiser was hilarious. She messaged me. She said she really liked that. It was the battle thing at the end where we did.
Oh god.
Where I'm like just turned into a huge bicycle, cracked the glass, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and Mr. Miles says a lot of people might not know, but the Xindi arc was inspired by the events of 9/11 and the events of the time. Well, yeah, that's the big swath through Florida. That's what that represented. But again, that should have been the Romulans. It should have been like a cloaked Romulan mine hits the planet or something stupid.
But then you wouldn't
start the Romulan War.
Then you would have lost the Xindi arc, which I think is great. It was fresh, it was new, it was interesting, and it gave them a lot of character development.
But you know what, Samuel? In all of my research materials that I had growing up, you never once mentioned the Xindi arc, the war, the attack on Florida.
But Stuart never wants the spore drive either. These things just happen.
I know. I'm trying to be facetious.
And so am I. No, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I tuned out, though, because it broke my canon.
But also, we do know that was a changed time thing. That was never meant to happen. So we do actually know that was an altered time event. You know what I mean? But things we wouldn't have got season 4's rather good.
Do you think the Discovery timeline is? No, do you think the Discovery timeline is due to the Xindi attack? Because that was never meant to happen. Dun dun dun.
Probably yes.
But then just say that it's an alternate timeline,
based off
alternate reality.
Yep.
Yes. Because they do reference Archer Discovery.
Yep. It's real easy. Real easy, real easy. I was thinking about but if we hadn't have had season 3 of Xindi, we wouldn't have got season 4 of the gentle build towards Romulans. You know, seeing the Vulcans dealing with Romulans, seeing the drone ship and how they first get into it. Like, that was a really excellent build up to season 5 Romulan War, which is meant to be the true build up to the Romulan War. And then season 6 would be the Romulan War, and that was going to be the arc, like the Dominion War. That was going to be that was the end goal. They just didn't get there early enough. You know, imagine, okay, so it would have been very, very dark. Imagine if season 1 had been season 3 of Enterprise. Like, okay, you probably, if you hadn't have turned on, okay, maybe, but like season 3 was season 1, season 4 was season 2, and then you have one more season of Romulan War build up, and then boom, Romulan War. What do you think? Lose the first 2 bits of filler.
No.
Okay.
I like season 1. I like season 1 a lot. Those first steps. And I kind of agree with Doug Drexler, where he said, if I had my way, they wouldn't have seen an alien for a long time. They would hear rumors of an attack here or this here, and, you know, build up these ideas of what a Klingon is in their mind. That's what, and Doug said this to us, that's what he would have wanted, because it's more realistic. So I like season 1. I like the way they refer to what happened last week, and because they're just leaving Earth, so it's like everything's exciting and new, and you know, I really like that. So I would say no to that. I'd leave it as is, but anyway.
I just think probably like Stargate Universe, if you wanted a better season of TV, you should have cut both seasons in half and put them together. Take the best episode of season 1. This is obviously in hindsight, but take best of season 1, best of season 2, cram it into one season, and then jump into Xindi. If you know you've got 4, let us get into the meat a lot quicker, because it's like a gentle build. But if they had known they were going to get 4 seasons, you know what I mean? A build is good, but a build clearly didn't pay off. Okay, yes, they got 4 seasons.
Star Trek Enterprise season 5 animated would be good. You could still do it too with the crew.
Absolutely.
Zachary Gibbons is saying.
Brilliant.
Add the secondary hull to the. Add the secondary hull to the ship.
And what are blatantly obvious storylines? You know, Enterprise, the animated series, or Star Trek Enterprise, the Romulan War, the animated continuation. I mean, it is literally writing itself. And yeah, everyone's age doesn't matter. You update the set, and then you could, in all annoyances, you could do some Discovery links with the art design, because, you know, the first refit of the NX, you know, it's 10 years later. You know, then you see these, you know, oh look, the bridge window's in there. I'm like, oh fuck. And I never swear on this channel, and that was a swear I had to put out there.
I know, that's why I was impressed.
Back to my notes, jerks. We just really went off. Okay. Do you remember?
No.
How Lorca asked Burnham to design a brand new analgesic to numb against the thing, but it's so easy, anyone can make it, because she's not a botanist. And if he had the idea to, you know what I mean? It felt really easy. Why isn't everyone? How is there not a defense against the agonizers if it was that easy?
And it's funny because you mentioned that, and he was getting dragged away by the Empress to be put in interrogation room C, only the finest for him. I was thinking, do they not have a screening procedure to see whether somebody's taking something like that? Because I'm sure it exists in that universe.
It's got to.
Especially if you know you're going to be captured.
I mean, the Empress would have.
You got one hidden in your boot, so if you do get captured, you just quickly stab yourself with it.
Yep.
You can withstand the pain for a while.
Yep. I mean,
I thought it was a little convenient.
If you were Georgiou, you'd strip him naked, and then throw him into one like dedicated on his entire deck. He's the guy that betrayed you in many, many ways. And what do you do? You know, he didn't even search on bet. So I just thought that was really easy. Like, oh, this will protect you from the booth. Cool.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there.
Charon still is not designed to make as much sense as it could be. It's around a gimmick.
Oh,
that was my note for that.
It's just an awful ship design. Yeah, no, I agree with that. John Harrison puts in 5 pounds. Stargate Universe I liked, and Destiny was a beauty of a ship. She was out there for so long, plus cool ship shots.
100% correct. 100% correct. And that is a tremendous. That show's ahead of its time, and that's the problem. It did really good serialized, really good character. It was dark, but not too dark. It was darker than most of the Stargate by a long way, but it was not too dark, and it also didn't change the storyline based on what the fans wanted, because we were letting it grow. That season 2 happened, and you can feel its line of evolution. It's not just to change everything, because they're already in production when it was confirmed for 2 seasons. They're already building the second season when they were showing season 1. So it was, but yeah, excellent binge. I rewatched that for a convention, and it actually is better now. And it's like this. If this show's released now, it would be one of the better shows on TV.
Mm.
And it'd be quite a cheap show for TV, because it's all very, you build the full ship.
Bottle show, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bottle show. The art design could do a little bit more pizzazz, but yeah, and Robert Carl is superb, real good, real good, and it was just getting to its stride.
Somebody asked, is there any character from season 1 of Star Trek Discovery not going to be in season 2? Well, Colbert is coming back, so we're getting the Doctor back. Lorca probably won't be in season 2, but
yeah. That
being said, I would like to see him come back. I want to see Prime Lorca somehow, some way, even in a flashback.
Time travel.
That'd be neat.
I mean,
Well, that's of course going to happen sometime because it's Star Trek. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Lorca's going to be. I mean, Lorca's the ace in the hole. He'll be back in either season 2 or season 3. I mean, season 3 or season 4. I would assume.
Well, don't forget the green spore that landed on Tilly.
Yeah. Well, that's.
We speculated it could be Lorca, it could be the Doctor, and we've seen scenes where Stamets is pulling something out of Tilly. This big. So that's probably in relation to that.
Put it this way. We're not live, are we, Stuart? I can tell you this in confidence.
Yeah, we're definitely offline. And yep.
Yeah. So I did talk to the Doctor actor. I said about the green spore, and he gave me a little smile. So the season 1's not very subtle. Remember that.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And just before we go back on live, I said that in the review that the green spore could be Doctor. Yeah. So all right. Well, let's go live again.
Live again.
All right. Cool.
Sorry, guys. We had to disappear for a moment.
Yeah, we needed to have a little sidebar. Dreamer out there just threw in $10. First show of Atlantis says several million years ago. Mm-hmm. In universe, they repeatedly say that the Destiny was 1 million years old, but somehow older than Atlantis, which is several million. Blah, blah, blah. This is your forte, not mine. So. Yeah.
Well, it was launched. Yeah, it was millions of years into deep space. It was millions of years. So I'm assuming, Atlantis might have been 2 million, Destiny might have been 3 million, is my assumption, or 10,000 years in between. I don't know how long it would take to go from that tech to Atlantis tech, but obviously you've got to consider gate tech more than anything else, because if gate tech, SGU gate was pretty cool compared to Atlantis, compared to Milky Way, and obviously the Milky Way first, and SG1 is a division as a evolution of Milky Way, but it would have taken 1,000 years to make this generation of gate. I don't know. Could have been just one generation. We know they were moving towards ascension at that point, but I don't know. Yeah, they're probably not that far off each other, and it's in the Atlantis database. And I didn't get a sense it was ancient history as much as history, so I would have probably guessed within a couple of 100 years max between Destiny and Atlantis. But Atlantis, I can still see Destiny and Atlantis being built at the same time, just as in a version, but Atlantis was probably been refitted. I mean, interiors are easy to rebuild than exteriors in terms of repainting and stuff. So I wouldn't take the the browns of Destiny being is exactly what it looked like 3 million years ago. Okay, Atlantis looked slightly more preserved, but it also had a shield bubble, so I can imagine that might protect it more. Okay, so Destiny, but different sort of environment. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Or Atlantis 10,000 years old. See, there you go. 10,000 years old.
Jill Wright just sent us $10 PayPal. So thank you very much, Jill.
You guys are amazing.
Anyway, sorry. Are you muted? I don't know. Anyway,
no,
Dreamer out there puts in $5.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, they messed up. They say Destiny is only 1 million, while Atlantis is several million.
I don't feel that's right, because it was the exact same producers. So I'll have to go back and look. I haven't thought about that before because I've watched them years apart. But I have a feeling it probably works just fine. Those guys are pretty consistent. I'll have to go look. But guys, back to Star Trek Discovery. It's a severely inferior show to Stargate, SG-1, Atlantis All Universe.
Gotcha.
Now, question.
Yes.
Why would Georgiou kill all the High Council members, the highest ranking officers in her guard? He didn't want them to...
Except for one guy.
Except for one...
Become governor of Ant.
I mean, don't you need these people? I know they heard the information about the mirror, but don't you need them? Like...
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. Like, they probably took a while. Wouldn't take a while necessarily to get there in the mirror universe, but they're off her inner circle, clearly. Or maybe it was just a once a year meeting of these governors or lords that she really didn't want this information getting spread out to their home planets. So when she didn't want them leaving with that information, maybe it was just the way it was presented. Although why bring Burnham in with them there? Otherwise, I don't know.
Well, she didn't know he was going to reveal Mirror Universe. But
true.
It seems so weird just to murder them all. I mean, it doesn't change.
I think it might have been a scare tactic for them, because look what I'm going to do to Burnham, who I raised. You guys don't step out of line. And then Burnham mentioned the Mirror Universe, so shit. Now I got to take care of all the witnesses.
It's so
ninja star through the hole.
It feels like so short-sighted though. I know you can always find good help, but we can assume they've been her appeal for years. I mean, she doesn't know. It's one of those things that it sort of assumes that this doesn't matter. In 10 minutes, it doesn't matter, but it's only sign actually murdering people randomly, so that seems quite important to step her. She's a mass, she is a mass murderer by those 1 seconds. I just thought it was a bit weird. Again, just she killed them all instantly. Like there's smarter things she could have done. Like then surely there's some sort of drug she can give them that makes them lose memory. Like, you know what I mean?
My idea would be as people were boarding. If I was the Emperor personally, while people were transporting aboard my ship, there'd be a transporter protocol override that implants an explosive device in their skull via the transporter. So I could just activate it and blow people's heads off.
Yeah.
That's how I would deal with things.
Yeah. Yeah? Yeah?
And I'm Canadian.
That says it all. So, Perez, she removed them like Shinzon with the Senate. Well, no, he wanted power. She already had power. So it's actually the exact opposite. Okay, we got the, again, now we know in retrospect, we now know the exact, people keep saying, it annoys me honestly, not in a bad way, just like, people didn't pay attention enough. Was Tyler, did they put his head inside Tyler? Did they find Tyler and convince him? Is it Vok they changed? It's like, they explicitly say what the situation was. How did lots of people miss that?
Body crunched.
Yeah.
Body crunched.
Laurel says, the original Tyler was captured at the Battle of the Binary Star. Not sure when or how. And Klingons don't take prison except when they do. And it wasn't by Laurel, because that ship... So, what was other ones taking prisoners? So what you're telling me... Sorry, I'll read... Sorry. Captured at the Battle of the Binary Star, harvested his DNA, rebuilt his memories, and put them into a new shell that was Vok. So rebuilt his memories artificially. We didn't use his old memory engrams. It was a clever thing. So you're telling me that he was captured by one of the other houses, because it wasn't the sarcophagus ship, because they would have eaten him, taken somewhere, killed, and then Laurel, after knowing that they were going to make Tyler Vok, well, Vok, human man, found the genome of random human prisoners that they took from somewhere, and then took the DNA and took it back. But you don't take prisoners.
Look what just arrived.
Oh.
Star Trek Mission Crate 3.
Oh, wow.
The last Star Trek Mission Crate ever, because they're stopping.
Live. Nice. I hope I get
anyway,
mine.
I'll be opening this live with you guys maybe tomorrow.
Wow. That's awesome. I really hope I get mine. I hope it's cool stuff.
Yeah, well, yours has apparently been sent, so...
I hope so. But yeah, what do you think of the now watching again the Tyler Vox sort of reveal again, all that stuff?
I rather enjoyed it because I did get the explanations a little bit clearer this time. I remember watching it the first time and doing the review and going exactly, what's going on with this, the memory engrams and stuff, and her doing the
Yes.
technique to reverse the process. I thought that was really odd, and I still think that she could have left something that could be triggered later. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I do like the fact that she tried to trigger it with, doing the
Mm-hmm.
whole Kuma or KLS speech and all that. But
Finish.
it was
Finish.
Vok
Finish.
himself. It was Vok himself on the planet that triggered it.
Yeah.
Because as he was saying the exact same things, it's like, and then
Yeah.
he goes ape shit on him, and
And was it just me? But you could hear, like, especially when you speak English, you can hear Shazad Latif. Like,
I was trying to listen for him. I really couldn't tell personally, but
I felt like I could. And it's funny. That's what I said to him in person. I said, "No, when you go back and watch, you can hear." It's like, I know, right? It's like you can't hear your voice. And again, I said everything in that tent was really good on that planet. Like that was a real good set of stuff. Definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, no, I forgot they explained it so well.
yeah,
Honestly, so I appreciate it was very clear. But yeah, she built her surgical gloves. That was weird. That's one of my notes, literally verbatim. And yeah, it does still feel really strange that she basically killed Vok, like
yeah.
theoretically her love. I know Last Ditch, but she seemed to. Lorel is a weird character because she swaps power positions to the point where she loses all of the personal characterness. I mean, she gets thrown away as a character until they need her again. But then in those episodes, she's like a hurt puppy, and sort of there's no strategicness there. Like she's such a becomes so weak that I buy that she didn't even think to connive to do what she was so reactive. Like there's nothing against her, but like the way a player is like she's been broken somehow, and she's seeing this and she's just destroyed by that. So she accepts I gotta kill Vok. Because what we get is Tyler with his memories. There isn't a Vok with Tyler's memories. It's a Tyler, a fake memory. Like, it would be nice if there was something deeper, but the scene plays out not at all like that, which I thought was actually kind of interesting in its own way.
Yeah, I was concerned about that myself because it just seems like there would be more Vok there than Tyler. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is T-Berg sci-fi fan? Is that what you're reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
I should make an album though, just in the name of Kirish.
You should.
I know.
I'll be a backup singer even though I can't sing Klingon. So
It's funny because the original Klingon is so clean. Like you listen to Klingon, like it's surprisingly clean a lot of the time. Like it's really understandable, but it's like
crisp.
it's like you lose a lot of that. But I guess there is a really receptive, like their sensors in the back of their heads. Yep. When so
Next
Stamets
note.
sorry.
Next note or next point.
Yeah. I noted that Stamets, when he meets Hugh in the mycelium, blah, 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 he says, "My partner is dead."
Mm-hmm.
Interesting note, they couldn't go to married because we know marriage is still a thing because Riker and Troy get married. Marriage is still a thing. So so they're not married. They're partners. Are they civil partners? Like, are they just dating? They felt like more than dating. Like, I just thought it was really interesting. Like, if he's talking to his partner and says, "Oh, my partner's dead," like, just that's what he thinks of him as. There's no, like, he's the sort of man that would use the wording, "My husband's dead." Like, I felt a bit
I never got the impression they were married. I just thought they were like might not be that big a deal in the future, or they've only been together for 4 or 5 years, and I don't know. But yeah, I never.
I just felt that I kind of felt it was a bit more, or like they should have made that more clear. Like it would have been nice if they were dating, or nice if they were, like those sorts of labels are sort of important because it helps you understand the reality and the levels. Because what does that mean? Like you sort of got their chemistry, but they were really playing it low, and sometimes you got a lot. So what do I feel about that? are they obviously in love, but Stamets is a bit of a dick
like,
who's not emotional. So it's like you look at
he's not a dick. That's just his character. It's just some people aren't. You're kind of a dick too.
It's like Sarek and Amanda. Like you look at that relationship and it's a weird one because it's so one-sided. It's hard to, but that's the Vulcan way, and you kind of feel that way a little bit with, because Burnham though the reverse, when she's in that scene we mentioned earlier, which is saying I love Vok, you felt it, like she was genuinely saying, no, I love you, like, oh, okay, wow, she put the emotion in. But those two, it's like it's so subtle and gentle that I'm like, well, what am I meant to feel? Are they? Sorry.
It's like the writers didn't want to commit 100% to that relationship for fear of backlash.
Yep. Exactly. First gay married couple in Star Trek. Like just like if they've been married for 10 years, you can see that at that point they're just best friends that are married in a nice way.
Somebody made the point it felt more to them like lovers as opposed to a couple.
Which is also just also you can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think I felt like it really needed to be like give us a real sense of who these people are to each other more than that. I just noted that more in this one.
Yeah.
Next note: the sensitivity to light is way stupid.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be there. It's just it's a dumb. It shows you if you give them power, they can retcon stuff, and it just hurts things.
They also have 6 toes, I guess.
Klingons have 2 penises, man. Can't take that back.
That's not necessarily true. It could be a piercing of some kind,
or just
could
that
be
guy.
A body alteration.
Yeah.
A body alteration or a birth defect. Yep.
Or he got surgery. Some people have breast augmentation. He had second dick syndrome or second dick surgery.
Yep, exactly. It's a thing we have to think about.
It's a thing we want.
Because there would. I don't think there'd be 2 things even.
Poor Jadzia is all I can say. Or great for Jadzia.
But I mean, poor. She might like that the DP, but we're stepping out of our wheelhouse a little bit here. So let's get back to.
And then Ezri, poor Ezri. God, Bashir can't possibly hold up to that, can he? That wouldn't be a great line. Ezri's like, "Well, you're only half of our morphers."
Plus, Worf is rich for her pleasure.
That's brilliant. I love that. Okay. This was I noted again. We had Lorca's Trump-esque quote. I don't care, but it was so deliberate. It's one of those things. It's so obvious. It's obvious. Subtlety is better than obviousness a lot of the time. Today's day we reclaim our empire with one of the lines. But why does he want to? Reclaim our empire. What does that mean? I mean, I don't. What's his motivation, Stuart? What did you get from his Mirror Universe journey of why he wanted to do that? What did you see that I just wasn't seeing?
I don't know, because I was confused as well.
Okay.
Because they're both human as far as I know.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah, I didn't understand it. It just seemed like a bad guy for the sake of being a bad guy power issue. Typical movie villain tropes.
And what did you think of him as a character when he got to that?
Again, it wasn't really. Kind of lost the impact for me a little bit because I've been a fan all along, and it just didn't make any sense. Because, like you said, how long had he been planning this? Was it just since he crossed over and had to go back?
Well, we know he was.
I loved his speech about destiny, though, and the one thing I thought, when he was talking about destiny to cross over the Mirror Universe and to get the ship that'll bring me back and all this. Absolutely. It reminded me of Hitler, because Hitler had 23 assassination attempts on his life or something.
Wow,
survived every one of them for one reason or another, and he thought because he survived them, he was destined to do what he was doing. It motivated him. Yeah. So when he was saying this thing about destiny, that's the first thing that popped into my mind was Hitler's mentality. So if that's what they were going for, achieved. But the destiny speech was
Ace.
definitely the adult mind adult mind kind of trying to make sense of what's happened, and just steering everything in his favor. So
that would have been, well, no, it would have been too long. But we do know who's rebelling against the Emperor, and that's they're chasing him when he beamed over, and we've got that whole explanation. Ion Storm did it. It's like, and then
the luck of a torpedo strike while he was beaming, and then the ion storm, and then getting a ship in the new universe that could get him back, and
the fact that Baran happened to be there as well in the other universe, because some of these coincidences. It's like, why was the Baran in one universe built, given the fact that Defiant is a technology that exists? Like, these things shouldn't still be on the same path. Like, the point of a tree branch is that they go off in different paths. Like, they're so alternate at that point. Although that's why I would be fine if Enterprise Mirror Universe is one parallel mirror universe and TOS Mirror Universe is another parallel mirror universe.
Yeah,
that would be more sensical. They're so close, who cares? Like, okay, whatever. That's why I'd be fine with Enterprise being a separate prime. Like, it would devalue it a little bit, but I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Lorca was weird. They need to focus, because they had so many. You know what the problem is, actually? Because they needed Burnham to be important, they made her a focus of that bit. And actually, one of the notes I have a little later on is that she is so unimportant at that point. Burnham acts like she knows Lorca at all. Georgiou are much better, and this universe, and these people, Burnham is so out of her depth. Like, at that point, this hero, it's an ensemble cast though, Stuart, we don't need Burnham to be the lead. She should have been sidelined completely, and given time to Lorca, Georgiou, especially for making Georgiou on the ship later on. Like, give these people this time. Give Captain Saru some time. Like, Georgiou, Burnham is completely out of her depth. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I agree with you. I really do. You've always got great points, and I just capitulate to your knowledge.
Well, I just want to know if you agree, if you think, because I'm saying these things, what my gut says, but I could very easily be wrong. It could be. I just think you're right. That speech was great for Lorca, but as soon as it pivots straight into, I need Burnham. Where's Burnham? I'm gonna kill Georgiou and get Burnham. Like, then it focuses on her a lot, and that time could have been spent in him giving us reasons and thoughts, and we know he's going to come back, so that would be good to have development.
Well, you're right. That was actually an odd choice to do that, because the Burnham obsession's a little bit weird, really, because it's not his Burnham. And I love how she says, "I'll give yourself, as a trade-off, I'll give you myself, just my mind." And the look on his face at that point was like, all right, well, fine, I can, whatever.
No, he was thinking, I'll get there in time. Like, you can see in his face, he's like, oh, I'll convince you to do more.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he knows her pretty well. I mean, considering
apparently
he had the advantage in the Prime universe of knowing her in the Mirror universe, and then her not knowing anything about him in the Prime universe.
Yep.
So he knows the character fairly well. So we got more of the Russian
rubles,
whatever rubles. That's it. Thank you. And I thought the first F-bomb in Star Trek for a dull and unimportant scene was the worst. I've totally missed this. I don't know what that is.
I'm going to Google that. Well, you respond to the first one. I'm going to Google this word.
Dull and unimportant scene was the word. I actually liked it. And I said this in my earlier review. The excitement and just the character of who said it. It worked for me because it was a genuine reaction, and then I love how Stamets just kind of confirmed it. It is fucking cool, cadet. I didn't have a problem with it. I think people will still be swearing in the future. So
yeah, I'm the opposite. Pick a moment. It wasn't a good moment, and they didn't do it again. It's like, oh, that was your choice. What was the point? You did it to get some sort of. You did it to make that episode more interesting. Like, imagine if Captain Lorca, said the F-bomb exclusively, and he's the mirror guy. Like, that would have had some impact, you know. Let's fucking kill them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit weird, but like it's like, whoa, we genuinely, like, this mirror universe is even darker. Like, again, the context. If they'd planned it properly from the start, which they did, and then Brian got fired. You know, you have really bright VFX in the Prime universe. You darken up in the mirror universe. You have really nice people in the Prime, really dark in the mirror. You have a positive, you know, nice not swearing, and then you have actual swearing. Because imagine if we suddenly mirror universe and people are swearing like it's just normal. You know, what should do this prick captain?
Or
like,
have
wow,
or
this
have
is
mud
weird.
or have Mud swear. That would seem more likely because he's not in Starfleet.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that's a pirate. You know, somebody that's out of the.
I haven't got a gun, but imagine he walks up to Lorca, puts it into his face, and says, "You fucking prick, Lorca, I hate you." It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, that excellent.
I've killed you 57 fucking times.
Yeah, like
No.
that, like instantly. These are worth something. Not just like, this is fucking cool. Okay.
No,
Like,
okay.
again,
when you put it like that, I
missed
guess
potential.
I agree with you.
They got the first,
Yeah.
and it didn't mean much. That's why the first gay couple make them married, go that full hog. It means more. You know, commit. It's cool.
Yeah. Dreamer out there puts in $5 and says, in episode 3 of season 1, I thought the phrase "panties in a twist" was a bit out of place in Trek. I disagree. It's one of those colloquialisms that just passes through time. We've got a lot of stupid sayings now that are, you know, based on 100-year-old things. So I disagree. I think the panties in a twist thing is fine. But
I
John
didn't
Hathcock
even notice, to be honest.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
John Hathcock throws in $2. First major language was Data's "oh shit." Yeah.
And that was
And that's
good.
funny because in Transformers, the movie, way back in 1986, for an animated movie, Spike says, "Oh shit, what are we going to do now?" And this movie is geared for kids. That was a big deal at the time. And it took Star Trek how long to get there to say, "oh shit"? When Transformers did it, back in the day. In an animated show, nonetheless.
And Data's "oh shit" was great. It was a really good little moment. His
Perfect-
whole
perfect.
scene.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. When I watched it, I didn't even think that was a swear word. But yeah, you're right. And also, John put in $5 a few minutes ago. TNG did prove there are multiverses with the Worf episode. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Infinite alternate universes are fine. Absolutely. I saw something.
Double dumbass on you. There's another early Star Trek swear.
Yeah, they said Spock used a colorful metaphor. Yeah, it's just not as much of a thing. But I mean, Tilly's young, whatever. I just think the placement, if they'd made the mirror, if they'd actually planned mirror to be darker,
or have Tilly playing Captain Killy say it.
Yeah, have to say it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they don't swear in the Federation. They're beyond that, but
yeah,
you know. Yeah, that's the thing. Those sorts of thoughts are better than throwing Inferno for a very small reason. Oh yeah. Why is the Helm Officer of Discovery one of the Emperor's main officers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because we need to actually use these actors that we have.
Yep.
Because they don't have any roles in the Prime universe, so we'll give them something in the Mirror universe.
I just thought I was so out of place. Like
I never really considered that, to be honest.
She appears after she kills her council, just appears and is the one that gives orders to, and it's like, but you're a nobody. Like no offense, you're a nobody. Okay, yes, you're helm officer of a secret ship that isn't a secret ship, but it's like you're not an Connie. Like you're not on the best assignments. You are just a random helms officer. Like Chekhov's a nobody. Well, until he's a somebody. Yeah. So
I've said this before. Things in the Mirror universe wouldn't match up like they do. Not only just people being where they are, but technology being designed the same. The guy that designed it could have been killed early on or something. And names shouldn't be the same. You know why? Because a lot of people are named after their grandfathers or great grandfathers or some kind of family reason,
or historical figures they
like my name, for example, is Stuart Thomas George Foley. That's my name. Thomas and George are both my grandfathers. If one had been killed, and the naming conventions wouldn't be the same for multiple reasons. So I don't buy the whole Mirror universe being exactly the same.
Hitler would be like John. Every other person's name Hitler, because that guy killed millions of people. Long live the Empire.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that. Like Hitler exists in that timeline, because we see it's all up until the certain Zephyr and Cochrane split. So yeah, I mean it's Mussolini, Hitler, Mussolini, Foley. There you go. That's your mirror name.
Great.
Yeah. But it's interesting because where we see, I can buy slightly more. Although again, I would still have the same problem-ish. But in the 60s, you had one example having Uhura still be the communications officer of a Connie in both universes. But it's like if you walked into the Mirror universe and on the Connie, they've got 3 main characters, and you walk into the Mirror's office, and wow, Ensign Pavel Chekhov, who's only 22, is now the head technical officer of the Emperor's ship. It's like, what? Oh, because he's Chekhov. It's like, no. It should have had, like, what would have made sense, they had the admirals from the Prime universe as the Mirror universe people.
Yeah.
If Admiral Cornwall was the kick-ass security chief, that's a nice little... We don't see her for a couple of episodes. She's being really evil. Doesn't matter. Bring her in. Much more interesting.
And sorry, as much as I love her, I don't think Tilly would have been captain in the Mirror universe. Because she's only a cadet, and she got fast-tracked at the academy for being smart.
Real young.
So she's young. I mean, but then again, she's also attractive. And, of course, women, if they're, they can get what they want with the... with their feminine wiles.
The problem is, though, is that,
kill people and climb up the ranks. So
we thought Sato was impressive. She got to, she got to Emperor in a few years. I mean, she was in her late 20s, 30s, and she was still the second in command of a. Although she wasn't that, she was a captain's lady of a ship, and here's Tilly, 7 years younger, captain of a ship. I guess she was, yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah. Do you recall when Lorca shouts out in the intercom, "Don't kill Burnham, she's integral to my plan"? How? What?
He needs a place to... It's integral to his plan. Don't kill her. He just didn't need to say that because... He has to add the integral to his plan so that they know. Yeah. It's serious. We better not. He just needed a place to park the. Anyway.
Also, Nigel Lancaster, Klingon bastard killed my son.
Those Klingon bastards, they killed my son.
And that's perfect. That's a perfect placement. It didn't even occur to me because I watched it when I didn't think bastard was a swear word. Yeah, that's brilliant actually. Good job. Other line. I assume they'd be... Oh, when they're on the intercom, when Burnham's running away. It's good to see you, Saru. You too, my friend. So when were they friends? They've never been friends. What? I know that she misses the people, but you wouldn't... I don't believe Saru would say, "You too, my friend." Have you seen the novel? Have you read the novel? They hate each other. If they've hated each other for 7 long years... Literally,
I think he was making her feel more welcome because of the situation and that they were in, and the fact that she was back. It's one of those things.
Well, no, she wasn't back. She was in the intercom hiding from Lorca. It was during that very quick.
I know, but I think it was a reinforcement thing. We're here for you, and in times like that, you tend to do that.
You're over positive, yeah. And
you become, you also generate a better bond with somebody through something like that. So
yeah. No, I just think that's a weird line. Like, normally you wouldn't use that line, I don't think. Felt a little bit out of place. Burnham's talents far rich mirror counterpart. We've already talked about that. Oh yeah, do you remember Saru's pretty great speech about it being their crew? And I quote, on the engineering, the spore drive deck. I said, "The secondary crew gets more lines in a single scene in the spore room than the rest of the season. Very shaky camera, more personality. They finally remembered they're the rest of a crew." And so I actually trust them now, but we still don't care about them because you haven't given us anything to care about. It's just like, look, we're a family, and I'm like, since when?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
No, I totally agree. We said that in our first review that I would like to know more of the secondary characters. I don't really even know their names. Some of them. I mean, I know they're said, but I just either missed it or whatever. But yes. And that was a good scene. We pointed that out the first run through. That was well written. That was good. It's about time that we get an ensemble piece because this has no ensemble cast, really. So, yeah, I totally agree.
It just really stood up. Like it stood out to me. It's been like this is really like they clearly the director was like, yeah, let's bring all the secondary characters. Yeah, just bring them in. No. We'll take this line away from Tilly and give it to us. We'll give it to Bridge Officer. Yeah, like let's do something with these people. And why they're not on the bridge? Why in the spore drive room? Like 50 people.
Because the night shift was up on the bridge working.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be more impressed on the bridge because it was more a statement of whatever. This confused me. So Discovery warps in. How did Discovery blast through the Charon's shields with a single phaser blast? Phaser blast. The mirror tech is better. How do they go right through the bridge? And bridge should be more shielded, especially on a flagship or a mirror flagship. Like
writing, plot. That's why. Moving along.
I mean, Lorca wouldn't say, yeah, we don't need shields. Let's not keep shields on the flagship of Terran Empire. Let's lower shields. We've got the ship. Let's lower shields. Like, what are you on about? This is the flagship. I mean, do you really think Worf's flagship? Yeah, how many shots did Worf's flagship take in the Mirror Universe? All of the shots. Like, literally. And Discovery has crappy phasers if you compare it to Mirror Universe. It's just like, he shot right through. And then we see
John says, didn't Burnham lower the shields?
No, containment field around the spore area. I would assume there'd be different shielding to the main shields.
Might have been linked. Who knows?
Might have been linked, but they called out this. I watched it like an hour ago. They called out the containment field. I mean, yes, you could check out the shields at the same time, but you'd think that everyone would notice that and say, "Oh no, the shields are down." Like, I guess you can kind of put a link together, but still, should have said both.
Like the whole end of this season, that was just rushed to get that done, to get that episode done. That's why
it was. Because I mean, you couldn't assume the Discovery it'd be any match for the Charon. Like, not in your wildest dreams would you assume they'd be capable to even hurt the Charon. You know, without this very specific plan.
Yeah,
it's Terran Empire flagship. It can blow up a planet. Appalling end fight. Awful aim with the mirror people. Remember when Georgiou, I said this the first time, but Georgiou beams away. She's shooting, not moving, and there's like constant people coming through the door, and they're all shooting a stationary target, but they all miss her. But she hits them all individually, and they make us watch this scene for like 15 seconds of people not being able to hurt her. And it's like, just choreograph. I mean, the fight was okay, but all the weapon stuff's awful. It's like, these aren't stormtroopers. That's a joke. That's a thing that you know, and even that they were trying to move, and there's some sense of whatever, but that seems awful. If you watch it, it's like there's no attempt for it to be anything. Like, couldn't she be behind cover or have an energy shield? Like, give her she already had this cool shield. Give her a personal shield, and then she can shoot. Like, give her something cool. Don't just not let them hit her. It's not a good action scene for that.
How many more notes do we have?
2. 2.
Oh, okay. Good.
But I didn't watch the last 2, so I don't have, you know. I would have had more otherwise. Georgiou doesn't want to go back because she's been overthrown. She built this empire. Who knows how long ago she killed the last emperor? You know, who knows if she and Lorca were just, you know, ambassador, you know, higher ups in the previous emperor's regime, and then she took emperor, and then he wanted to take over from her. So she might say, well, damn, I did this once. I don't want to go back and re-overthrow a brand new empire by myself. I did that already, you know. So I can, yeah. And then another Mary Sue line when they've finished the mission. Saru says to Burnham, "No one else could have done what you did on the Terran flagship."
Yes. Except if they needed to, they could have.
Or any Mako officer. I mean, what do you mean? You're fast. Surely, dude, you could have done it. You're faster, stronger, taller. You can survive phaser blasts. Well, like, what does she do? She okay, yes, no, only she could have dealt with Georgiou, sure, but like the tactical stuff, anyone else could have done. I guess she's the only one that could have done Georgiou stuff, but that's only because that was the only thing she could do. If it was someone else, they could do different plans and, you know, more clever strategies. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the other 2, so I remember them being rushed.
Neither did I. So
rushed and better CGI and weirdly quick. Oh look, I think he's gonna blow up the Empire with this device. Bloody uppy. But in summary, these ones though, still better than the rest of the season.
Oh yes, by far. Yes.
These 4 episodes, better writing, better characterization because we knew what they were. But obviously, people got better payoffs. Yeah, and I'll probably end up watching the other 2 episodes on my own before the season 2 just to
I will too.
Especially that last Burnham chat and stuff.
I saw the last episode the other day on Space because they're replaying Discovery leading up. So I did see the last half of the last episode the other day.
What do you think then?
Rushed. Just comes to mind. There's a lot of issues that I have. Just things that don't make sense. But yeah, that sums it up. It's rushed. It was a very rushed ending to finish the war, get us to where we see the Enterprise to make everybody happy, which didn't work because they screwed that up too.
So now we've watched the entire season, Stuart, and I want you guys in the chat to give us your final overall thoughts on season 1 and super chat a question or a comment if you want about this summary because we're now in the closing bit. So put us a few more 5s would be brilliant. So what's your closing thoughts then on this rewatch of season 1 now? A year later, we rewatched it all, pretty much all of it, knowing what happened and be able to appreciate it again, seeing, and we said at the start, their epic plan might come through. Let's give it another watch and find out. What are your closing thoughts now on this season 1, having rewatched it?
Some clever setups and some good payoffs, and then that being said, a lot of things that just didn't work or went nowhere or were tied up way too quickly. Overall, I enjoyed rewatching it though. I can see how people can just really enjoy this show as long as they aren't too canonista about Star Trek. It is enjoyable to watch. A lot of the bad writing does stick out like a sore thumb though, and even for just casual viewing, some things just don't make sense. There's no need to have your analyzing hat on to realize that. So overall I enjoyed it though. I did enjoy rewatching it, and I would like to sit down and watch it without having to take notes and analyze every goddamn episode, and I will do that at some point. Because that's one of the problems with doing what we do is we need to overthink things, and it sucks the enjoyment out of it sometimes. But anyway, that's where I stand.
Yeah, the first time I watched the episode, I watched it without notes, just to actually watch it, and then I do the notes in the second viewing to get the screen caps. Is how I tend to watch it. Because I wouldn't want to do notes first time around because I'm stopping.
No, I don't the first watch through, but still, I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, what am I going to say in my notes?
Okay.
I can't really just.
Okay, luckily I can. Yeah, it's an interesting season because it's not a smart season. It's not a season that you're meant to think deeply on. It's not a season that you're meant to think about where they're going, think about the things you forget about. You forget about the what's his name? Stamets in the mirror.
Him.
Yeah, the Stamets in the mirror. What does that mean? How is that explained? Yeah. Nope. Like it's a thing, but it's not actually.
And I thought they were going to do that because when they went to, I just want things to go back to normal, and Hugh says okay, and then they're in front of the mirror, and they said this is the moment I like most in our day, is when they're both in front of the mirror. I thought that would tie in with that reflection in the mirror, and it didn't. That was that was a missed opportunity.
Like he sees it like that was his future self trapped in the spore drive, looking at his past self before as it was going wrong. Yeah, that's brilliant. It wouldn't have been the same mirror payoff, but it would have been a future payoff. Yeah, that's brilliant. Love it. And then he like tries to tell himself a message, but the guy's already walked away. Be kind of cool. It's a show that is just a actiony, pop. It is more like the J.J. Abrams films. You're not meant to think about it. You're meant to not think who Vok is until and then oh my god, it's a reveal, and then it goes into it. It plays it all straight. It does develop the characters a bit. Burnham is one of the least interesting characters of the hero characters that we've got, but okay, you know, it's not meant to be a hero piece. It's meant an ensemble cast, and so you're not meant to focus on her. Therefore, you can look at other people, and there's different things, and it's a show that you can certainly feel the disjointed rewrites, but it's still amazing how well it turned out considering. Like most of these problems, I bet, are because of these problems, these production problems. You know, firing the guy that wrote the series Bible and then rewriting the series Bible as you're filming. So that's quite a serious thing to do.
It's a dumb thing to do, but yes.
A little bit of a dumb thing to do. But yeah, I enjoyed some. I mean, we looked at the scores. I either had the same review number or sometimes upped it. And I think one I loaded a lot more because of the plot holes. Seeing that it went nowhere was a huge deal. But you know, they try. Their focus is the visuals. Look, we have movie level visuals. But
let's not show you any of them.
Yeah. But the art team's goal is to make a non-Trek looking Trek. Problem is, if they'd had a Trek looking Trek who was the director at the start, then the cinematography would work even better. They gave themselves problems, didn't have to. And that's why it's a disjointed show, because it succeeds in some places. It's certainly better shot than Enterprise was. But it's not, the stuff they're shooting is less interesting, a lot of it, you know?
Yeah.
And their budget is clearly spent in the wrong places. You can see, like, the Empress's ship. You know, you look at some of the sets Enterprise. You know, it's like, oh, this is a really cool set design. And then Georgiou ship, and it's like, it's a big room with columns. And then outside that is a big room with columns. Like, what do you want? And then, like, that ship was so poorly done. But rushed. I mean, it was rushed and redressed and gold, and you know, spent money on costumes. The costumes were good. So it was a real mixed bag that if you're not a fan of Star Trek, you'll enjoy, because you're just coming at it for show TV. And nowadays, most TV is watch binge on Netflix as you go, and you don't go back.
Yeah.
And so you watch it, you move on.
Neff makes a good point.
Yeah.
JJ Verse at least was honest about being a reboot. Yep.
Yeah.
If they had told us that from the beginning, we'd be praising the show quite often for doing a good job.
Okay, something kind to say. Disco makes me like Kirk era Trek even more now.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Yeah. As one more thing I wanted to say, but I can't necessarily remember it. But it's it just makes me sad. When I watched, in the same 2018 space, I watched Lost in Space and Altered Carbon. And both are Netflix binge shows, and both are incredibly well written, both in very different ways, very good production value, very good look, very good story, very good acting. And this was also made, and for more. And it's like, those are also binge watch Netflix, watch it and never going to watch it again shows. But they're so smart and good. And one is family, and one is dark, gritty. And both do tremendous well. This is, what even is this? It's just something you watch and put down. You know, it's not gonna have the same. I would say the same for Enterprise season 1 personally. But that's just me. But a lot of Trek you can rewatch and you can really enjoy, and you can look at the moral stories. I mean, you know, what would Gene think? What moral? This will not inspire a generation of children. This will not. You know, this is just a show. This is just a show of This is just a season of television that you watch, you pay for their service, and you leave. This isn't meant to do anything more than that, and that's not. Trek likes to do more than that, you know. But it's all right for what it's trying to be, which is a TV show for average viewers.
We got another super chat.
Okay.
It says, better than JJ Verse, no Nokia phones or Budweiser bottles at least. Well said.
Except Beyond, which is a tremendous, good movie, well written, all that stuff. Yeah. Is Altered Carbon any good? Yes, brilliant. I think that's my closing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I go now?
If you want.
I should probably go eat. And I'm tired.
What are you having for dinner, Stuart?
I think we're actually making a pizza.
Making, or like ovening?
Making.
Ooh. What's your favourite sort of pizza, Stuart?
My favorite sort of pizza? Canadian, obviously.
What does that mean?
Mushroom, bacon, pepperoni. What else? What else is on a Canadian? Green peppers? and ham. Yeah.
Just meat. Just meat, basically.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much a meat feast in England. So you guys are, meat lovers. Okay. Done. Dusted.
Actually, that's not my favorite pizza.
I like Hawaiian.
Pepperoni, green olives, and hot peppers.
Wow.
That's the way to go.
Stu does like hot food.
I do.
I like Hawaiian
hot
pizza.
women.
Yeah. See, I quite
all right,
like
guys.
pineapple and cheese and chicken.
Oh,
It's a good combination of flavors and sweet and not sweet, and it's good.
No.
Good
Hashtag
stuff.
pineapple does not belong on pizza.
I see. I don't understand that.
Cassie's on your side, Samuel. She loves pineapple on
So
pizza.
as you old people die out, we will take over the earth.
No, because there's always going to be the polarization.
And we'll raise our children to like the correct food types. Then people look back at the history books and say,
Gawk pizza. Gawk pizza, yeah.
On that note, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for our for our Thursday prediction video. I believe it's still. Are you still in? Are we still doing that?
That's not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
I mean, I meant Wednesday because Thursday is live for everyone else. I meant it needs to be Wednesday because Thursday Discovery's on for people. Not for me, but for people.
Oh, okay. So yes, tomorrow. Yeah. Yes.
And
Things. Predictions.
Yes, and see you earlier in the day to film.
Yes.
Okay. Early, just early.
Early. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see.
Like maybe an hour or two before we usually do, and then we got those 2 meetings. One at 12, one at 2.
Which one's first? Who's first?
The originals. And then the filming of the originals at 2. And you know who that is.
Yeah. Okay. How long's that script?
4 pages. Not very long. It's a typical episode.
Thanks for the meeting, Stuart.
Right?
And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.